It's a Friday, the last working day of the week. This is the AM News. My name is Pakwesi Shandoff. Now to a very first story, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, has called off its industrial action. GUTA members closed their shops from Wednesday to protect the general economic conditions, government policies, investment laws, and tax regime. A statement by GUTA says that the decision to call off the meeting was arrived at after a meeting with the President Akufo-Addo and other traditional leaders. Here are extracts of the statement from GUTA. Now, suspension of closure of shops. It reads, following our strike action on Wednesday, 19th October 2022, the king of the Ghana state, Nitaki Tekochuru II, invited leadership of our association to brief him about our concerns. After carefully listening to all the concerns, he saw reasons with us and promised to intervene and take the matter to the appropriate authorities for urgent solution. Immediately after talking with the king, the President of the Republic also invited us and listened to our grievances and the recommendations thereof. He then called for setting up of a working committee made up of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, National Security, and GUTA to swiftly come out with pragmatic measures to solve the challenges. At that, most of our recommendations will be factored in the ongoing IMF discussions. On this note, we wish to sincerely thank His Majesty King Nitaki Tekochuru II for his intervention and wise counseling. We also thank the Office of the Council of State and all its honorable members and staff for playing important roles in this matter right from the early stages to date. Finally, we thank His Excellency and President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for understanding and appreciating the degree of our challenges, and let's setting up a joint working committee for expeditious action. In view of all this goodwill from these great personalities, we wish to appeal to our teaming members and the entire trading community who participated in this strike action to reopen their shops from tomorrow, that is 21st October, that effectively is today, as we continue to pursue the process for immediate solution. And that statement was signed by Alpha A. Shaban, who happens to be the General Secretary of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Pharmacy says it would no longer operate on a credit basis. This means persons who supply medicines and those who sell would have to pay cash or run out of stocks. The chamber says the inflation rates, the fast depreciation of the cedi, and high interest rates have rendered business unprofitable. There's more on the following report.
The chamber, comprising Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Association of Ghana and Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association of Ghana, say their business are on the verge of a collapse.
Current inflation rate stands at 37.2%. And it will surprise you to know, as we speak, some medicines are up over 100% because the cedi has depreciated more than 100%. This obviously brings about increase in the cost of goods and services by the same quantum, which we are not happy at all about it. The cost of essential accessories and other inputs needed for pharmaceutical operations therefore becomes affected. Interest rates. Interest rates on loans contracted from commercial bank as at end of last year was approximately 27% and currently stands at 35% on a compounding scale. This means charges on loans to finance operations have escalated. Additionally, loans from commercial banks attract an extra 5% penal rates on default.
The chamber has therefore resolved to transact business on purely cash basis.
Therefore, call for an immediate action to save the industry. Decisions. No credit policy for all buyers in the industry. All transactions with immediate effect shall be on cash basis until the economy stabilizes. I want to repeat. No credit policy for all buyers in the industry. All transactions with immediate effect shall be on cash basis until the economy stabilizes. Recommendation. The NHIS and all private health insurance companies are encouraged to give accredited facilities seed funds to buy medicines on cash for supplies to patients under the schemes. All end-user institutions, thus retail pharmacies, private hospitals, and clinics, are encouraged to secure loans from banks to buy medicines on cash. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning should release funds immediately to pay for long-standing debts over 9 months and to push to clear all overdue debts.
The group, meanwhile, expects government to immediately settle outstanding debts as a first step towards keeping businesses afloat. It is not clear what the immediate impact will be on the sale of medicines at various outlets.
The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwifery Association is asking government not to touch the Tier 2 pension funds of its members. President of the association, Perpetual Oforiampofo, says any such interference will make their members worse off. Speaking on the sidelines of the annual general meeting of the Health Sector Occupational Pension Scheme, Mrs. Ampofo indicated that the association would not countenance any decision made on their pension funds. Richard Kojenako has the rest of the story.
The Health Sector Occupational Pension Scheme started in 2012 with an asset under management of 2,040 Ghana cedis, mainly from the internally generated funds made up of the staff's contribution, and grew over to 2.1 billion at the end of 2021. Addressing the media on the sidelines of the annual general meeting of the scheme, President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Oforiampofo, asks government not to touch their Tier 2 pension scheme lest it incurs the wrath of their members.
The beneficiary, such that when you go on retirement, your money is safe. What have we been seeing in the past, even with our Tier 1 contributions with SNIT? Investments that have gone bad, and all those investments or monies pumped into certain ventures, and the monies have not been returned back into the scheme. So we are not expecting that our Tier 2 contributions will be touched in any such ways. It should be left for us the way it is, so that our members can benefit at the end of the day. Nobody can use the media to communicate such things. I think when it comes to the forum, the chairman of the forum has said it and time and again. Even the recent media interviews that you had with him, he said it very clearly. If there is anything, engagement should be done. We have to sit and discuss some of these things. Nobody, not the Minister of Finance or any government apparatus, must sit and take those decisions which will come back to affect our members who are contributors of the various Tier 2 schemes.
Deputy Employment and Labour Relations Minister Bright Rekubrobe assured government owes it a duty to ensure that no retiree is worse off or suffer unjustly.
This annual general meeting should engender consensus building around happenings on the pensions front vis-a-vis the global economic realities. We owe it a duty to ensure that no retiree is worse off or suffer unjustly in the current situation. The Board of Trustees has a greater responsibility to fashion out innovative approaches that would maximize investment returns of members' contributions. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to use this platform to urge members of the Health Services Occupational Pension Scheme to sensitize our brothers and sisters who operate in the informal economy and do not have access to any pension scheme. Informal economy operators should be encouraged to take advantage of the 3-tier pension scheme to ensure their retirement security.
Deputy Minister of Health, Tina Mensah, encouraged members of the scheme and the general public to cultivate the habit of savings.
Taking inspiration from Peter Lane, I quote, "In the long run, it is not how much money you make that determines your future prosperity, but how much of that money you put to work by saving it and investing it," unquote. As an advice to the members of the scheme, it is important that savings is done before spending, otherwise there will be nothing to save after consumption.
The board chairman of the Board of Trustees of the scheme, Dr. Derek Amwati, intimated that even though the National Pensions Regulatory Authority was not present at the event, the authority was in full support of what the scheme was doing. The scheme covers all employers of the Ghana Health Service, teaching hospitals, faith-based health facilities who are on government payroll, and employees paid from the internally generated funds. Richard Kwejenya-Akon, JoyNews, Accra.
To a bite on education, teacher unions are kicking against the appointment of Dr. Eric Nkansa as the new Director General of the Ghana Education Service. Dr. Nkansa's appointment was announced by the presidency after Professor Opoku Amankwa was asked to return to his previous station at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Speaking at a news conference in Accra, President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Angel Kabonu, said teacher unions want someone who is a career educational professional to be appointed instead.
That annoyed and surprised all of us, that a new Director General is being appointed to the Ghana Education Service. The authority to appoint Director General is the President of the land. Unfortunately, contrary to what the teacher unions indicated, that we want a Director General who is a professional teacher, who have passed through the mill, who can bring his knowledge, skills, and influence to bear on the activities of teachers and non-teachers in the Ghana Education Service. Contrary to that, the gentleman who was appointed yesterday is not a teacher. He is a banking officer who was a special assistant in the office of the minister and has been appointed as the Director General of the Ghana Education Service. We are not happy with this development. It is as if we don't have professionals and well-educated people who have gone through the mill in education in this country to run education. It is as if we are being told that we educationists in the Ghana Education Service are no good to manage education in this country.
Our pupils of DUCDA Primary School for years have been studying under makeshift structures with a population of 149 pupils. They have no proper school blocks. Sometimes snakes and other dangerous animals fall from the thatch of the roof, causing fear and panic. Rafiq Salam, who visited the outlandish community, reports that the situation will be a thing of the past as Fidelity Bank has broken grounds to construct a 6-unit classroom for them.
DUCDA Primary School was established in 2012 by the community members and absorbed by the Ghana Education Service in 2015. The school has a population of 149, comprising of 77 boys and 72 girls. It has no proper primary school block, but depended on makeshift structures. Sitting under these trees, they have their hearts in their mouths. Sometimes, during instructional periods, snakes and other dangerous reptiles fall from the thatch roof, causing fear and panic. The only better structure close by is their kindergarten block with 2 rooms. Anytime it rained, it is their no ark for their safety. Contact hours are therefore lost.
In fact, learning is not easy for us. When it is raining particularly, we have to chase the children to the KG structure, which is only 2 classrooms. We have to go there. When the rain stops, then we come back and sit under the trees to learn.
So you see that the world is not fair to everybody. You can imagine you go to other places, they have tables, chairs, very nice environment where they sit to learn. Here we are at Dwase, our children are lying on their stomachs to learn.
However, all this will surely be a thing of the past. Fidelity Bank, in celebrating its year-long 15th anniversary, has broken the grounds for the construction of a 6-unit classroom block with auxiliary facilities as part of the bank's sustainable project in education dubbed Orange Impact Initiative to support 15 schools across the 16 regions of the country. Deputy Manager of Fidelity Bank, Ata Waijan, broke the grounds for work on the 12-month 6-unit classroom block to begin.
High levels of education begins from the primary level and the basic level. And so when we launched our 15th anniversary, we discussed among ourselves, and right from the board to management to staff, we concluded that we will want to embark on an educational program. Now it came to the selection of the communities where we are going to do this. And again, we had to engage our staff who are located all over the country. We tasked them to look for the most deprived communities. And I'm happy that in the Wa area, Duase was the community that we found to be most deprived, and therefore we decided to site this project here to impact the lives of the youth here in Duase.
This corporate social responsibility on the part of the bank is meant to impact on Fidelity Bank's corporate value of serving the community. Now that we have had show the way of giving back to Ghanaian communities for supporting the bank on their ongoing orange journey of success.
We have a budget for all the 15 projects that we have identified to do, and we have a time frame of 12 months to complete all 15 projects. So all things being equal, we should see that beautiful edifice here in Duase in 12 months' time. Clearly, this is going to provide not just a school building, but a temporary employment for the people here. And we expect that there will be that cooperation, the people who own the projects, and see to its successful completion.
What was District Chief Executive Vadodurudi welcomed the construction of the 6-unit classroom block with ancillary facilities, stating that it will complement the effort of government in delivering quality education to the people.
This intervention by Fidelity Bank, I must say, is not only appropriate, but timely, and will ultimately complement government efforts of bringing education to the doorsteps of our people.
Chief of Duase, Naba Wasedu, on his part, was nearly in tears and loss of words to commend Fidelity Bank for the kind gesture.
I could shed tears, but I do not. Honestly, I don't know how to thank Fidelity Bank and thank God for what has happened or what is about to happen today.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam, Duase.
Certainly a welcome gesture there. Now, education authorities in the Techimani municipality of the Bono East region are asking schools to revisit hand-washing protocols observed during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Municipal School Health Education Programs Coordinator Mary Wuntima Ali, who made this call at a brief program to commemorate the Global Hand-Washing Day, said the move would minimize the outbreak of diseases in the area. And Asabet has more.
The Global Hand Washing Day was instituted to encourage people to wash their hands with soap at all times as an effective and affordable way to preventing the spread of diseases. As the world marks this special day, education authorities in the Techimani municipality are engaging basic school pupils to encourage them on the need to revisit hand washing as observed during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Mary Wuntima Ali is the Municipal School Health Program Coordinator at the Ghana Education Service.
In fact, we are celebrating it in the Zongo community. The reason is that we in the Zongo community, we always wash our hands, but it's a religious washing. So today we are doing this to demonstrate between the religious washing and the proper hand washing, where we will keep ourselves from diseases. And I want to take this opportunity to still encourage all schools that it is not yet over. Because corona have gone down does not mean that we should stop washing hands. So we'll encourage all the schools to still keep their Veronica buckets, water, soap. So all the time we should encourage the children to keep on washing their hands, because it is proper for every child and even we the teachers to always wash our hands.
Chairman of the occasion and the Gomba Chief of Teachman Alhaji Yakubu Adam on his part lauded the exercise and promised to lead a community campaign aimed at sensitizing the populace to revisit hand washing.
In these our communities, we don't take hand washing seriously. Now that it has come to our schools, back to the parents, and the parents will also take it up. Myself, I'm going to summon my elders and we'll start educating people in the mosque so that we all take hand washing seriously. Because during the COVID era, it helped a lot. But now that it looks like the COVID is down, people don't take the hand washing seriously. But we are going to reignite it. We are going to make it very serious one, even than the previous one, so that people will start washing their hands.
Rosalind Kujo is a principal midwifery officer and also the municipal infection prevention coordinator. She noted that the exercise would go a long way to helping prevent diseases in the communities, particularly amongst children.
Among children, they play a lot. And because they play most often in the sun, they are prone to bacteria and infection like diarrhea, typhoid, and all those other diseases. So this day, hand washing, if it is being practiced and done well, it will go a long way to prevent so many diseases in our community.
She, however, cautioned parents to teach their children proper hand washing methods to help in the prevention of bacterial infections.
To the parents, they should supervise the washing of hands daily of their children. And I know if they do that, it will go a long way to prevent diseases.
The theme for this year's Global Hand Washing Day is Unite for Universal Hand Hygiene, and the children were encouraged to unite, talk and work together on hand hygiene for high-quality safe care. Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Teachman.
Ghana should brace itself for more mental health challenges as the economic crisis in the world surges. Now, that's the warning by mental health experts at the Ankafu Psychiatric Hospital and the University of Cape Coast. The experts say that the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic and other economic challenges have created huge problems for individuals and families in Ghana and the global community at large. There's more in this report.
You're witnessing a whole lot of social issues, even quite recently. You're witnessing the gentleman that was flogging the baby. All these things have psychopathology because we feel that the financial crisis is going to have a lot of toll on us. The armed robbery, the galamsey, the ritual killing, all of these have economic dimensions that is bordered on what? Mental health. So we need to really brace ourselves for more challenges. And we're calling upon the government to do whatever it takes to resource and look at mental health as a priority for Ghana.
The head of department of the School of Nursing and Midwifery, as well as the mental health at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Jerry Paul Ninoni, speaking about how the economy is affecting families and individuals, many of whom he says are resorting to diverse means of surviving.
The whole world, economically, is about going under recession. And what that means is that people struggle to find money to cater for their children. People struggle to find money to do other things, and their daily life is going to be disrupted. So we are seeing that mental health is going to be a global priority, all because of the economic consequences emerging from COVID-19 will have a toll effect on all of us. And it's a challenge for every nation to plan ahead for the mental health challenges going to come, because the unemployment and the job issues are not going to go away anytime soon. But it can only get worse and gets better. And that's why we feel that at the family level, at the workplaces, organizational level, every stakeholder must make every necessary effort to be able to respond to emerging mental health cases that may come as a result of the global economic crisis we are going through.
He believes the mental health sector should be adequately resourced to enable them provide some support mechanisms to help people deal with the mental health traces that are arising as a result of that.
And when you even look at it generally, we still have trained doctors, trained nurses who are in the house. For about 2 years now, they've not been posted. All these are having an effect on the mental health delivery system. So we're calling upon the government, let her do something in staffing and resourcing the mental health sector to be ready for this aftermath of COVID-19, which is going to have a lot.
At the Akakpo Psychiatric Hospital, Dr. Kweju Mafo, being on his part, believes prioritizing mental health issues at this period in the country's life is crucial and non-negotiable.
I have to emphasize that most of this lost productivity is due to what we call minor disorders such as anxiety and depression. Most of this money lost. Majority of that 1 trillion is depression, not working properly at work. Very little of it is actually the major mental disorders like schizophrenia that we tend to think about. Because those people tend to be excluded from the workplace. They are not well enough to have had a job to lose. They are not well enough to be in a job and not be performing. So majority of this impact is the anxieties and depression, the things that we overlook.
A recent research conducted by some mental health researchers in Ghana revealed that in Ghana, 21% of the working age adults experience moderate to severe mental health disorders.
Thanks for your time, and of course, do have a pleasant weekend. For more, log on to www.myjoyonline.com. My name is Pakwesi Shandov. The show continues with Benjamin Akakpo and Benes Abubeidu Lansa. Stay.
A very good morning to you. Thank you for staying with us for the news review. And this morning, I would like to salute my producer, whom I just found out was known in school as Tuspus Pululus Tuspus. Tuspus Pululus Tuspus. If you're an old student of Pope John, you would know Derek Ekwasam, and that apparently was his nickname back then. Tuspus Pululus Tuspus. I mean, come to think of it, I'm joined by Samuel Kojobres. Samuel, I was thinking if that was going to be your nickname, you might as well call yourself a teaspoon.
Exactly. Or maybe, okay, the other one I wouldn't want to mention it, but yes, teaspoons. I mean, how
Derek Ekwasam, he's a fantastic human being, but I can't fathom for the life of me why he would, accept. I hear back then they would say Tuspus Pululus Tuspus,
then
and he would say,
yeah.
Let's do this. Tuspus Pululus Tuspus.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. I mean, the way he is fat, I wanted to replicate it.
You are spoiling the man. What was your nickname in school?
I was Polo.
Polo?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a simple one.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, the full is Polo Wazi.
I don't know what it was back then, but there were a lot of wazis. And I had this one, Filawazi.
When I went to school, my senior gave me Splash Biggie, and I said, nah.
Splash Biggie?
Me, I'm not big, so Polo Wazi is fine. So I was called King Polo Wazi, and then we shortened it into Polo. So anytime I wear a polo shirt, it will be Polo in Polo or Polo on Polo. And I told myself I'll buy a polo car so that when I wear a polo shirt, it's Polo on Polo in Polo. And that's what it is.
Hey.
Yeah.
Check like your rhythm this morning, and that's what it is.
Yeah. You UCC is celebrating 60 years, so yeah, I'm in my element.
No, which Volkswagen, VW Polo, which be that?
No, I'm yet to. Yeah, but I'll buy one because of my name, so I'll buy one, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, hold on. You don't have to move like that. I'm wearing a 60th anniversary shirt of the University of Cape Coast.
Masa.
And of course, you're asking me.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hold on. The thing is that when you can't beat them, what do? You join them.
Join whom?
Of course. The only university of competitive choice in Ghana. That's a university that when you attend...
University of Competitive Day.
Choice.
Oh, so when you guys get one accolade, people have got thousands of accolades, and of course they are not beating their chest because this is normal for us. And you get one, and what's that saying?
You see, this word.
Is everything?
This word there. Envy makes people try to justify.
But what is envious about? You've done it so many times. It's normal. It's next to
Which one? Which one are you talking about?
It's second nature to you.
No, hold on. Which one?
I'm talking about the University of Ghana. Which other university can rub shoulders with the University of Ghana? In Ghana.
Which one?
And even beyond.
No, which one are you talking about? The university that don't let me, spite some people to this one. The fact is that we are talking about the #1 university in West Africa, according to the Times Higher Education, World University Rankings 2023. You understand? We are number 24 university globally for research influence. Charlie? Let's talk about facts. This is what we're talking about.
So you do this once.
No,
I don't want to say certain things about those metrics, but you do this once and all of a sudden you feel you're on top of the world.
We've always been on top of this world. And everybody knows that when you are coming out of the University of Competitive Choice, Charlie, the way we are like all-rounders. Have you met any UCC product that you can say that this guy now?
Because some of the things coming to mind, if I say them, some people will feel spited.
Oh, which one?
Let me leave
of
them.
Which ones? Let me know.
I am at least happy that my producer, Tuspus Pululus Tuspus, did not attend UCC to come and
the thing is that
with all respect to your University of Competitive Day.
Choice.
But anyway, that was just on a lighter side. And UCC is a fantastic institution. It's just that they are not at the level of the University of Ghana yet. Not yet.
If we have to go into it, last time your
and that also rubs my director, who is a product of UCC. He just whispered something in my ears.
So what he can do is to mess you up this morning. Yes.
Yeah, will not do that.
But you see, the thing is, the other time your sibling was telling me that you really applied to UCC, but you were disappointed, and that's why you went to Lagos. So that's it. The reason why we call us. Hold on.
I applied to UCC.
Hold on.
And didn't get it and went to Lagos.
I am not saying your sibling told me. The point is that the reason we say UCC is the University of Competitive Choice is that people go to apply to UCC, they are disappointed, and then they apply to Lagos and they get it. So we say we are the University of Competitive Choice. When you compete and you get it, you went into a competition to get it. That's why we are glad.
This is what
those of us who attended.
Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy, bask in the sunshine while it lasts.
60 years.
While it lasts.
Thank you.
Bask in it. We're celebrating 75, so we can accept it when the 60 people are.
Don't worry. Like we say in our anthem, we find out and pass on. So University of Cape Coast does the research, we get the findings, and then we pass it on to University of Ghana to use. So
no problem. We congratulate you.
Thank
you.
Please,
let's have a Tuspus Pululus Tuspus review.
Okay, thank you.
Let's review.
Good morning to Tuspus Pululus
Tuspus. Yes. Or I think for short, what? Tuspus Pululus Tuspus. So TPT.
Okay. TPT.
All right. My producer, TPT. I wish you a very good morning. He's a very affable fellow.
Yeah, sure. Very, 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 very great guy. He's a great chap, really. I like him.
My producer is threatening me. Anyway, look, sometimes we must have fun, yeah? Today's a Friday.
Yeah.
So if you've joined us, let's
deal with the papers.
Let's get into the papers.
Okay.
I see you have the Daily Guide.
Yeah, sure. I have the Daily Guide and the Ghanaian Times. But let me just re-emphasize that the University of Cape Coast is ranked number 24, University globally for research influence, according to Times Higher Education World University Rankings.
Master, is that what the Daily Guide is saying?
No, hold on. I just want to put this across. We are among the top 400 globally. We are number 1 university in West Africa and number 1 in Ghana. That's just by the way. Now, Daily Guide says, government will reclaim all stolen land, says Akufo-Addo. First Lady launches breast cancer project. It comes with a picture of her in a handshake with official from Roche. I judge based on law. Supreme Court nominee says. It comes with a photograph of Justice Ernest Yao Gau. 11 trapped illegal miners rescued. Those are the stories on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. Now, President Akufo-Addo has cautioned all encroachers of land belonging to public universities to vacate the land, asserting that the government is now prepared to take the necessary steps to reclaim such land soon. Speaking at the 60th anniversary celebration of the University of Cape Coast yesterday, the president described the development as a vexed issue, and I quote, "I'm informed that almost 1/3 of the university's legally acquired land have been lost to encroachers. This is most unfortunate and unacceptable. I'm saddened by this state of affairs, especially because it is happening in Cape Coast, all over places, the cradle of Ghana's education, a proverbial Athens of Africa, he stated. So that's the president speaking there. That's an alumnus of the University of Ghana saying that University of Cape Coast is the cradle of Ghana's education and proverbial Athens of Africa. No comment or no debate.
Oh, no, I don't have to, because if I start digging into this, there will be nothing left.
Of course. But this is a very important issue. That every state land that Ghana has, especially, okay, let me speak of UCC, a lot of people are really taking a lot of the land. I mean, UCC is such that when you go in there, you see a lot of settlement in and around the university. And people have taken advantage of that to take a lot of these lands that the university could have expanded in future. And I don't know how we do this when we are buying lands. And I think we need to take on traditional authorities as well and landowners. When you know for sure, and let me tie this in with the Ramsar site. You know that this land is reserved for a specific purpose. Yet they will go ahead, demarcate it, and sell. And sometimes, some of these University of Cape Coast, I don't know, I cannot speak to fact whether they have been licensed or registered at the Lands Commission or not. But even indeed some of them have, then you tend to ask yourself, who are the Lands Commission has been given, permission to be demarcating these lands and licensing them or registering them in the names of individuals, when we know that these lands have been acquired by the state for a specific purpose? I find it to be troubling. And this is not just the University of Cape Coast, but it happens all over Ghana. Lands that, senior high schools, the school that I attended, Bedubonso Senior High School.
Even the University of Ghana, most of the tertiary institutions have their lines being encroached on. I don't know about the University of Cape Coast, but from the Nkrumah era, the demarcations that were given, I want to believe all of our public institutions, the public universities, the main ones, have their lands being encroached on. Oh, and we're sitting and watching.
That's a difficulty. And usually we sit and watch for it to develop to a point.
Escalate, become,
So that when you're going in, they say go with a human face. Why that? The school I was mentioning, Bedubonso, we were given a huge land, but people have bought into it, and the school has just been, how do you say?
Boxed into a little corner.
A small corner.
That there are lots of secondary institutions as well. In fact, some of them, I mean, we've put out documentaries and stories on some of these, and they are basically struggling. Struggling. They are competing with encroachers.
It saddens my heart anytime we talk about it, because some authorities sit there and allow this to happen before we move in, when you cannot do it.
We move in at cost
to the
state, to the ordinary taxpayer. We go and destroy property. I mean, the whole vicious cycle of all of it. But it is what
Look at what is happening at the Ramsar site. Yesterday, Joy took a drone shot of the place. I was like, wow.
You were stunned, huh?
See, in the water, people are building in waterways. I mean, how cruel can we be? You're going to put your investment in there. You should even be worried about where you're putting your money.
Charlie?
And then we go and leave, we say we are demarcating. Please, it's in the waterway, break it down. You've already given buffer zones. You're saying that people are living outside the buffer zone. That's fine. But for people to build in the Ramsar, pull it down without any consideration. Because look, when I saw the drone shot, I was shocked.
That's also.
That what? I mean, these are places that when it rains heavily, the water will just come and take over all those places. And people have bought those lands, put money into them. I mean, those are their monies, but we as a state should be worried. Pull those structures down.
I'll tell you something else that busts my brain, or it busts my brain right now. You see this, let me show this cartoon out there in the Daily Guide. I'm not sure we took a shot of that, so if you can see this cartoon, it's a chicken, in the mouth of a hippo. And the chicken is the cedi and the dollar is the hippo. In fact, so let's do this. A chicken and hippo situation. This is what it looks like. Yeah, that's the Daily Guide. cedi to dollar 2022. Chicken to hippo. I mentioned last Saturday, I had to give someone some money. Unfortunately for me, it was in hard currency, dollars. So I had to go and pay through the nose. 12 cedis, 50 pesos for one. It means that if I had delayed till, let's say, today, I would have been paying, do you know right now out there, it is 15 cedis. 14.50 is what we are quoting and all of that. In some places, I checked. I actually bothered to ask. 15 cedis, $1.
So the reason why...
I spoke to some economists, this is just about 2 weeks ago, asking them whether, what did they think? Would it be a possibility? Is that realistic? And me, I really didn't think it would get there. It's got there in about 2 weeks since that conversation. 15 cedis. So if I had delayed, I would be paying an extra 2 cedis, 50 pesos per dollar. Difference between last week, Saturday, and this week, Friday.
What it also means is that if you had a dollar, say, when the dollar was 7, 8 cedis, and you kept it with you, you are making how much? 15. So if you had, say, $100, if you had changed it, then it would have been 800.
So if it was 6 something, you are basically making about 9 cedis on it. But you see, it's not necessarily as good as people may think. You know why?
Well, because when you change it, when you get it, the inflation will still
Inflation will bring it back to zero.
Yeah, so really. But I think, so it's
unless just let me make this point. Unless maybe you are making purchases with it outside the country.
Yeah.
So you have to purchase in dollars, and you already have it.
Yeah.
So you're making those purchases, and you don't feel the pinch you would have felt. But apart from that, it comes down to zero.
So the thing is that demand has really outstripped supply, and that's why the price is shooting up, because basic economics, when demand outstrips supply, price goes up, isn't it? That's why it's rising, because yesterday I was thinking, why is this thing rising so fast? Just last week it was 12 point something, it came to 13. It came to 13 on Monday when they held their press conference. And then it has jumped. No, I think the press conference was Tuesday. That's when I heard it was 13. Then Tuesday to Friday, like you're saying, it has jumped from 13 to 15 today. That's a jump. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days, isn't it?
If you look at the depreciation of the cedi against the dollar, especially, it's just been crazy. I keep going back to my friend who is taking up a course at the London Dental Institute, who was paying £750, and just some months back, let's say last year getting into, she was paying maybe some 7,500, thereabouts. Now she's paying about 10,000 cedis for the same £750. And her course ends next year, I think in March. So you can imagine what this means to her. Fuel hasn't come, and fuel, you see where it is. Feeding hasn't come. If you are like me and you have a mother to take care of, her bills haven't come, her utilities haven't come in, her medicals haven't come in, nothing. I'm not even talking about my own. It's mad. It's madness. Just to add, there's this chart we put out there. I don't know whether but when it comes to the cost of living in our country, what makes it even worse? So you see that in our sub-region, sub-Saharan Africa, actually, not just the sub-region. And this is something I'm going to be using in my blunt thoughts shortly. Look at the ranking of sub-Saharan African countries with the highest food prices increments in 2022. Look at where Ghana is.
Ghana is first, 22%, followed by
twice as much
as the second place.
As the second place country.
Because Senegal is coming with 11.
Why?
Yesterday I was telling someone that when I see things like this, I become depressed. I have never loved traveling outside of the country. I was telling someone when I completed the first degree, I had the opportunity to travel, but I turned it down because I said I would make it in Ghana. But when I look at what's happening, of all people, sometimes I feel like I want to travel. I still feel I can make it in Ghana. I want to live in Ghana, but what's happening is depressing.
Charlie, my friends, I'm telling you,
depressing.
I can count about 15 of my friends, professionals, doctors, nurses, accountants who have left within this year. And that is just me, my personal friends. Others I don't even know. So imagine your friends, other people's friends who have left. as of the first quarter of this year, not my report, it's one of our institutions, I think the Ghana Statistical Service, reported that 3,000 nurses had upped and left Ghana. 3,000. And that was even then, no. So we are talking about April, March, April, as of that time. If you look at how things have crumbled from that time till now, Charlie, let's move on. Why?
Shall be well. Anyway, a Supreme Court nominee, Justice N.S. Gao, has dismissed suggestions that his past association with the New Patriotic Party will influence his work at the Apex Court. According to him, he has always given judgment based on the law and not political coloration, citing a defamation case that was brought before him by Dr. Stephen Opuni against the NPP Borno Regional Chairman Kwame Bafo, aka Abronya DC. Answering questions before the Appointment Committee of Parliament, Justice Gao said judgment was given in favor of the plaintiff, adding, and I quote, "I gave the judgment based on the law and not on political coloration." That's what he's saying. So he should be allowed, to become a Supreme Court judge, even though he's had past association.
I mean, I have two different sentiments to this. On this, on this bit. The first is, these judges are political animals anyway, like the Platos and the rest will tell us. Everybody is a political animal. But whether in delivering their judgments, rulings, and the rest, they can set aside the political cap and put on the purely legal cap and say this is what the law says, regardless of those sentiments. That's the problem. And we all have. Look, let's face it. Let's be blunt. If your brother is coming to your court, criminal court, and you are the justice of that court, you might want to recuse yourself because that level of familiarity,
and they do
this is your blood.
They do it.
It is there. And me, I would easily recuse myself.
Some of them do.
I don't want any complications. I would recuse myself, unfortunately. So these are the dynamics.
Yeah. But he's
they
given
can't
an example.
run away from the fact that, look, if you've worn an MPP political hat, and you're now going to be a justice of the court, and let's say there's a certain electoral petition or something, you will just, people will naturally think that, but I also want to believe that these people, knowing the onus that lies on them, on their shoulders when it comes to holding our democracy together, because this is the last bastion. If it goes down, everything crumbles.
Yeah.
I think they would be able to do.
No, but he's given an example. He's given an example that they brought the original chairman to him. He has some affiliation with the MPP, but he didn't look at the collaboration. He said the law says that once you defame the guy, you've defamed, and he gave it in favor of the plaintiff. So, well, let's see how that goes. But it lies with the Appointment Committee. So that's it. I'm done with.
I'll quickly do the daily graphic. We'll reclaim every state land, President Akufo-Addo says so on the back of some of these developments. He said he was saddened by the encroachment happening across the country, including around the University of Cape Coast. I said it.
Yes.
I said it. Speaking at a Durban in Cape Coast yesterday to mark the 60th anniversary of the establishment of the UCC, the president expressed dismay that one-third of the university's legally acquired lands had been lost to encroachers, mostly developers, saying, quote, "This is most unfortunate and acceptable." 1/3. Anyway, mixed bag of development in Cape Coast North. Great Coast secures $60 million ECOWAS bank loan to upgrade systems, and pharmaceutical bodies resort to cash and carry. That story on page 13. We'll be talking about the pharmaceutical industry today on the show, but let me just take a snippet of that and it's a wrap for me. So 3 major pharmaceutical groups have resolved to stop the supply of drugs and medications to all health facilities across the country and the NHIA on credit basis with immediate effect. The entities, Ghana National Chamber of Pharmacy, Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana, and the Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association of Ghana, said henceforth all supplies would be on cash and carry basis until the turbulent economic condition stabilizes. That's what they are saying. On the back page, Hudson Odoi, missing piece in Otto Addo's jigsaw. That's a question there.
Well, Ghanaian Times, Soka is a president about a president vowing to reclaim all state lands. It comes with a beautiful photograph of him smiling with the Sabarema Kwesiata II, who is the paramount chief of Cape Coast, with some Jonah. There was this issue, but matured minds.
Jonah.
Yeah, they're all laughing together heartily. Also, Palmer Bakel is in there, Reverend Father Palmer Bakel, and it comes with
he's an archbishop. His Grace.
Okay, His Grace, Archbishop Palmer Bakel. Okay, so that's it. Joab and MC nominee bribery case adjourned. Amid threat to kill, Galamseyers invade, destroy the Siri Forest Reserve at Domisua. Charlie, this thing. When can we go over it? Again, Zoom Lion announces $100,000 support for kids sanitation, environmental protection, learning in schools. That's it for me.
Let's quickly I'll wrap with these two papers, The Finder and Republic Press. So The Finder, protect women in media from attacks and unfair scrutiny. Samira Baumia says so. That's the second lady. President is confident that policies will yield relief. Eugene Ahin says so, Director of Communications at the Presidency. Policies to restore Ghana's macroeconomic stability identified, that's according to the IMF, and local supply chain policy needed to entice companies to invest in raw material production locally. That's according to Kwame So Jr., a businessman and marketing expert. Republic Press now, it says, Supreme Court nominee wants Parliament to abolish death penalty. Sachet water producers order members to shut down production over CD depreciation. So GUTA shut down shops. Now the producers also order members to shut down production over the CD's depreciation. UK Prime Minister Liz Truss resigns after failed budget and market turmoil. So she, together with her Chancellor Kwesi Kwarteng, have done it. Records being set. Shortest term for a prime minister, shortest term for a chancellor. If you take away Ian MacLeod, who was actually, he died in office, and his was just a month. Kwesi Kwarteng was just about 3 weeks. There's IMF gives Ghana hope, and Napo chastises Kumasi journals for MPP woes in Ashanti region. Republic Press, I'm sure the journals you meant to write Journos, not Jurnos. All right, there's also Nagrat rejects a new GES boss, and that story there as well. Let me just take a quick look, very quickly, at the Finder on page 5. Policies to restore Ghana's macroeconomic stability identified. And it says, the IMF says good progress has been made in identifying specific policies that will restore macroeconomic stability and lay the foundation for stronger and more inclusive growth. IMF negotiations team lead Stéphane Roudet revealed this in a statement posted on the IMF's website. According to him, the IMF team and the Ghanaian authorities remain fully committed to reaching an agreement on a framework and policies for an IMF-supported program as soon as feasible. You know what? They should stop the plenty talk and just give us a program if they are going to give it. But
won't it be important that we bring in the new development in terms of the GUTA strike? GUTA has released
has tagged. This is tagged, right? When they spoke about that is the Traders Association, the Traders Advocacy.
No, this is GUTA.
Group. Oh, this is GUTA.
Yeah, GUTA.
So what are they saying now?
They are saying that they've met. After the Garmancha met them, the president also met with them, and looking at what they've said, let me just, because this is very important. He says, in view of all this goodwill from these great personalities, we wish to appeal to our teaming members and the entire trading community who participated in this strike action to reopen their shops from tomorrow, 21st October, which is today. Today is 21st October 2022, as we continue to pursue the process for immediate solution. So today, GUTA says, they are, suspending the strike action and for shops to reopen. So
that industrial action.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's see how that one goes and how it follows through with it. Yes, I'm done with it.
Let's wrap with...
No, I got wrap with it earlier.
Okay.
But like I was telling you, I wanted you to know that this picture on the Ghanaian Times comes with a picture of the former Vice Chancellor, Professor Didi Kumpole. So he is watching us. And so we should say good morning to all the professors of the University of... There are a lot of them, I can't mention all names, but...
I know, right?
You know it. You're all my fathers. I had some fantastic fathers there. Professor George K. Theodoro, solid man. When it comes to education...
We have some solid academics in our system. Some of them we don't acknowledge, and some of them with all their... like the Professor Ivan Adai says and others, with all the wealth of knowledge. When you speak to some of these people, well advanced in years, but razor sharp memories and thinking and everything, we're just letting them go, not doing so much for them.
We have to use them.
And even in terms of their legacies. I do remember though, under Kufuor, Ivan Adai received, I think the Order of the Volta Award. So
if Professor Dro, for example, I wish would one day become the DG of the GES. I don't know whether if you would.
Speaking of the DG of the GES, I was going there. You know of the recent one, Professor and what he put out. What he put out, about his reassignment, let me not call it sacking, his reassignment and all of that, and thanking those, you can see that there are some sentiments, undercurrents.
Anyway,
and there's also been talk about the fact that the new one is not a teacher,
qualified. Yeah, he's
qualified and all of that.
Nagrad puts it, he's had a stint as a banker.
A stint.
No, he's a banker. He has a stint with K. Poly some time ago. Anyway, but a father of mine in UCC, he's called Professor Nelson Boa. Okay. Let me say good morning to him. Solid man. It's been a long time. Yeah.
So that is it, but I cannot go without doing this one. Happy birthday to Mrs. Osafo Intim. Mrs. Osafo Intim. Mrs. Osafo Intim, my born in Premier, of Phone Tissue Limited, Paper House, Alajo. Today happens to be your birthday. It's from your sister, Baby Ya, your daughter, Awo. They say, God bless your new age. And so, Mrs. Osafo and team of Phone Tissue Limited, Paper House, Alajo. Today is your birthday from your sister, Baby Ya, and from your daughter, Awo. They say, a very happy birthday to you.
I thought you were going to do it in Ghana. Yeah, so do it in Ghana.
Jay Mane. Jay Mane.
I know what you're doing.
Now, I want to know stick to your hunter. Stick to your hunter.
And then you come back there.
So just you wait for it. After sports, shortly, I'll be delivering my blunt thoughts. Hot, like the Nigerians will say, water. And the title, Ganaman Wahala, the raw economic deal we are getting under this rotten administration. Ganaman Wahala, the raw economic deal we are getting under this rotten administration. Yeah, facts and figures coming up. Do stay. But up next, sports.
Oh, so
Welcome to Friday. Welcome to my blunt thoughts. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. Today I've titled it Ganaman Wahala, the raw economic deal we are getting under this rotten administration. In the last 4 months, Ghana 4, the British have had 4 chancellors, 3 home secretaries, 2 prime ministers, and 2 monarchs. Well, for the monarchy, it was through death's natural intervention. For all the others, it was on the back of a ruthless political system that has little to no tolerance for nonsense, especially economic nonsense. But just you look at our misleaders here. Just you look at them. Nothing is working, and everybody is still at post. Kule. Do these misleaders have a conscience? Today, I'm going to be brutal. I'm going to use personal experience and those of close friends to share our angst at the economic horror show we are served with every day. If this system isn't broken, then I don't know what else broken could possibly look like. The cedi depreciated by as much as 3.3% just this past Monday to the United States dollar. Ghana cedi slumped to become the world's worst performing currency this year as investors continue to squeeze foreign capital to us. That took its losses this year to more than 45%, the most among 148 countries tracked by Bloomberg. If you look at what we are looking at, what we have to consider, and what Bloomberg holdings, those foreign investors in outstanding domestic governments and corporate bonds are telling us, it has fallen to 12.3% at the end of August, the lowest ever from a 2022 peak of 17.3% in April, according to Central Securities Depository Ghana Limited. The nation's domestic bonds are currently trading at an average yield of 41.9%, the highest in emerging markets across, according to indexes tracked by Bloomberg. Ghana's gross international reserves declined to $6.6 billion at end September, enough to cover only 2.9 months of imports. That's down from $10.7 billion a year earlier, which gave 4.8 months of import cover. Ghana 4, a loaf of bread is now between 13 and 15 Ghana cedis, onwards, depending on what you're buying. A bottle of Blue Skies is now 17 Ghana cedis from 10. Some even sell it for 20 Ghana cedis. And I'm not talking of buying these at restaurants or any plush places. I'm talking Kwancheng, roadside. This government promised to ease my tax burden and yours. Instead, I now pay half of as much in taxes on a liter of fuel compared to what I used to buy an entire liter of fuel for before this administration took over. Again, before this administration took over, I was paying about 4 Ghana cedis per litre of fuel. Now I'm paying about 4 times as much. When the latest fuel price increment hit, I was stunned. The fuel I purchase now goes for 15 cedis, 70 pesos. That's an increment of over 2 Ghana cedis per litre in just a few days. My car tank fills up with about 45 litres. You know, filling your tank is one of the best ways of economizing on fuel. Well, even this lasts for me just about 5 days averagely. My fellow citizens and dear friends, paying Ghana cedis, that is 15.70 for a litre of fuel, multiplied by 45 litres equals 706 cedis, 50 pesos, which I now have to pay every 5 days to fill my 1.6 litre petrol engine. For those of you using 5 and 6 litres, mundie. There are 30 days averagely in a month. 5 goes into 36 times. So just you multiply 6 by 706 cedis and 50 pesos, and you get a staggering 4,239 Ghana cedis. That means if I don't do kwa in any given month, and if I haven't salted away something little at least, that would mean I would have absolutely nothing left to eat, buy medication for my mother, pay for her other expenses, pay for my utilities, cater for any exigencies. Hey! Accra stay by plans, Ampa. Thankfully, my place of work here at the Multimedia Group gives me health insurance. So when I'm ill, I pick up my card and go to a private facility that accepts my card, and all my bills are paid. I am well catered for in that regard, to a large extent. But how about others who are not so fortunate, who have to pay to stay alive? How about those on our so-called health insurance? You will soon see why I say so-called. This past Sunday, I spent my whole day after church at the Rich Hospital because a friend of mine who recently delivered premature twins saw one of the preterm babies fall pretty ill. When we got to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, aka the Rich Hospital, the National Health Insurance card covered only the bed, and we're even lucky to get a bed because they had just discharged a child, else we wouldn't have got one, and paracetamol syrup. We paid for practically everything else. At the Achimota Hospital, where she was before she was transferred to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, pregnant women are paying to do something as simple as use the washroom, just to pee. They pay 50 pesos each time. So my friend, when she went there before she was transferred to the Rich Hospital to give birth, paid 50 pesos each time. By the time she left, she had paid 3 Ghana cedis just to pee. And when the ambulance came to transport her, even after hours of waiting for the Greater Accra Regional Hospital to confirm they finally had a bed, after lots of shouting and threats of suing the facility, my friend had to pay 120 Ghana cedis for the ambulance to convey her. This was for fuel. And no, that illegality hasn't stopped. You remember that pregnant woman who died, yeah? So my friend was trying to avoid that. What a country. What a hell of a country. Even the incubators that these tiny tots were put in had to be paid for per day. In a week, they paid about 2,000 Ghana cedis because they were 2. Surgery cost over 3,000 Ghana cedis. The president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, asked us to be citizens, not spectators. Today, a budding broadcast journalist opens her mouth to criticize the president, not on her media platform. And that's not a crime, by the way, and away from the premises of her place of work. And she gets sacked, purportedly because the powers that be send personal messages to the owner of the media entity where this lady works, and she is sacked. What vile pettiness. What intolerance. What hypocrisy. What shamelessness. What leadership do we have? I mean, how low can we go? Look, there are 2 inflationary measures in our economy: the Consumer Price Index and the Producer Price Index. The CPI is a measure of the total values of goods and services consumers have bought over a specified period, while the PPI is a measure of inflation from the perspective of producers. What is consumer inflation then? It simply refers to increases in the prices that people pay in a particular period of time for goods and services and the measurement of these rises. When you look at the PPI, or put differently, the producer inflation, it measures the costs of producing consumer goods and commodity and food prices. So the PPI is an economic measurement of the average changes in prices that domestic producers of goods receive for their products in a given country or region. It is a metric used in economics to help define inflationary rates. I'll be going to these slides shortly, but just to let you know, someone close to me who was purchasing a number of mathematical sets recently went to the market on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, and spoke to someone who was going to sell bulk to her. The price they agreed on was 25 cedis. Guess what? By Wednesday when she went, the price they were quoting was 30 Ghana cedis, day on day. But let's come to the board. This is how bad our situation is, Ghana for. The ranking of sub-Saharan African countries with the highest food prices increments in 2022. Look at where Ghana is. 22% food price increments. We are ranked number 1 in sub-Saharan Africa. Senegal has 11%, and mind you, that second position, that is twice what we have. In fact, ours is twice what they have. Look at Uganda, 7%, Nigeria, 6.5%, and even they are complaining. They should come to Ghana and see. South Africa, 2%, Angola, 1.5%, Congo, 0.4%. Now, just take a look at this. Look at the lending rate. Look at where it was in January, 22%. Now it is at 38%. How do businesses survive? How do you go for a loan? Look at the lending rate in these numbers. And also this, of course, also reflects the forex rate. Look at where we were in January, 6 cedis, 40 pesos. Look at where we are today, USD, CD. 14 cedis, 50 pesos. In fact, in some places, I consulted, I asked myself, it's 15 Ghana cedis. 15! Now, if you look at this latest development when it comes to producer inflation surges, that was exactly what I was referencing in the bit I shared with you. Our consumer inflation, or the CPI, stands at 37.2%. And when you look at the producer inflation, or the PPI, 45.6%. So, of course, as the cost of production goes up, the cost of purchasing and the losses, the rises, the increments, that affects you and me. Look at that. Look at the fuel price increments. Diesel now sells at 15 cedis, 99 pesos. Petrol, the least you will get it for is around 13 cedis and 10 pesos, though we've put here 13 cedis and 19 pesos. When you look at the differences, diesel has shot up since January 2022 by over 141%. Petrol has gone up by over 97% since January. Look at the fuel price increments. This will stun you. If you come to 2015, the violet represents petrol, the green represents diesel. We're paying 2 cedis 77 pesos for petrol and 2 cedis 64 pesos for diesel. In 2016, it was 267, 267. In 2017, 4 cedis. And look at what it is now. 13 cedis plus for petrol, almost 16 cedis for diesel. But just take a look at why you are paying so much. Look at how many taxes you are paying. Everything levy. Energy debt recovery levy, road fund levy, energy fund levy, price stabilization, sanitation, energy, You pay levies. Look at that. Every liter you buy, 2 cedis 65 pesos on it. Just the levies. Now look at our international reserves, like I was talking about. In January 2022, it stood at $9.8 billion. Look at where we are now. 6.6 billion. And in fact, the stock of gross international reserves has declined from the 6.6 billion equivalent to 2.9 months of import cover for goods and services just in September 2022. And then you look at what is affecting our dollar CD statistics. Looking at our expected foreign liquidity, even if we were to get them. Now, the red represents what is not available, and the green represents what is available. So, the joint mandated lead arrangers and book runners, that is the MLabs, the 250 million is not available to us right now. Again, the IMS 3 billion, we don't have confirmation on that. So let's take those out. The rest, the 750 million from the Afrexim Bank, we've already secured. Then there's also the 1.13 billion Cocoa syndicated loan, which we are due to get or have got. And then purchased repatriated forex from gold and oil companies, 83.9 million. That is where we are. As I end, Mr. President, I would like to remind you that Liz Truss, former UK Prime Minister, did I just say former? Sacked Kwesi Kwarteng for his public riling tax policy after only 3 weeks, the shortest time ever that a Chancellor of the Exchequer has been in office, setting aside the death of Ian MacLeod, who unfortunately died in office after only a month at post. She had even more history to make, though, when she resigned only yesterday, after only 45 days, making her the shortest lasting premier to serve the British. Now, Mr. President, I'm not getting carried away, far from it. I am not delusional enough to assume you will take the nuclear option and resign, knowing you to be who you are. But show some leadership, at least, Mr. President. Show some of that strength, that supposed iron will that made us believe you could crack the whip and turn things around, for which reason we voted you into power. Show some of that and jettison these managers of our economy, whom you appointed, who have left us in the lurch. Today, we are the world's laughing stock. We are the butt of many jokes. You don't believe me, Mr. President? Well, let me share only one with you. Only yesterday, I read a joke couched as an online story which highlighted the fact that Nigeria's Naira had been beaten by the Ghanaian cedi to worst place in terms of currency performance. Yet some delirious people in your party tell us our flip-flopping, fast depreciating, junk-rated currency is actually the third best performer in Africa. I'm supposing they are having some sort of pipe dream or smoking something. But hey, just do us the favor of being a leader. You've not shown the required leadership in tackling the Galamsey menace. You've not shown leadership, Mr. President, in calling your ministers and other appointees to order, even when they were caught in flagrante delicto, with their hands literally in the cookie jar. You've not shown leadership in the fulfillment of most of what you promised us, the people of Ghana. You took down the La Hospital, razing it to the ground. How many years now has it been? There's still no hospital there, contrary to your promises. I do not want to go into the chapter of your failed promises, Mr. President, lest I never end. But I just want to ask, Mr. President, whether you can at least show leadership with the management of our economy and aid your people in these deeply distressing times. You told us in March that your administration didn't know how to bring the dead back to life, but you knew how to resuscitate our economy. Mr. President, I'm asking, were you serious when you said this, or did you say what you did in jest? Anyway, assuming you were in fact serious when you uttered those words, and assuming they were not just scripted for you and spoken for effect, I humbly suggest you take a critical and sobering look at our economy. In case you haven't noticed, Mr. President, our economy is dead in the water like Long John Silver. If something is not done and fast, we will in fact have no economy soon enough. Traders are suffering. They have closed their shops. GUTA may have suspended its shop closure, but the mere fact that they would go to this extreme just to force home their message is very worrisome. Commercial and private drivers are suffering. For some of us, our entire salaries are going or getting spent on fueling our cars or boarding public transport. If you consider that our minimum wage is pegged at 13.53 Ghana cedis, while diesel currently sells at 15 cedis 99 pesos, and petrol sells for 15 cedis and 70 pesos, then you know what we're talking about. Doctors and nurses are suffering. These professionals are leaving our country in droves. In fact, by the first quarter of this year, as many as 3,000 nurses had left the economic terrors of your administration. Students are suffering. In some second cycle schools, those institutions are not given the means to even feed them. Broadcasters like me are suffering. And all media people are suffering. Oh, my correction, maybe some are not. Tailors and seamstresses are suffering. Fishmongers and all those in the seafood and cold store value chain are suffering. In case you missed it, Mr. President, one such sufferer, a 24-year-old man, recently climbed a high-tension pylon in Kasua in protest against the harsh economic conditions, the banza economy you have saddled us with. Nana Showboy, we do not care about the bombastic swagger and pompous talk. We are poor, hungry, sick, and tired, and we desperately want some reprieve. Say a daso tisikaso, and so a confita nedeying. That is what we want to change. This is no time for plenty talk. We shall listen to no more of that. Act, Mr. President. Show some gall and act. That's what we want. Because if you do not act speedily enough, well, so him saying so trap on Chenia. Ojede, war. God save us then. God have mercy on us. God help us. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. I say these things and do what I do in the public interest. We are in this together, and we must hold the feet of leadership to the fire of accountability. That we pledge firmly to do. These are my blunt thoughts, served raw, hot, unedited, undiluted. God richly bless our motherland Ghana and make her great and strong.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for staying here on the AM show. We start off our big stories this morning from the pharmaceutical industry. The Ghana National Chamber of Pharmacy is warning of an impending action, and it is as a result of shortage of medicines. As they say, the current economic challenges is creating a lot of problems. Businesses are struggling to stay afloat. But how can we avoid this crisis? We will be speaking to persons who play key roles in this industry. David Kafui Kluche is a rep from the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana. And he's on my far left, and just on my immediate left, William Idum Ado is president of the Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association of Ghana. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And also via Zoom, we've got Dr. Kwame Sapamisidu, who is a fellow of CDD. Let me start off with my guest in the studio, then I'll come to you, Dr. Kwame Sapamisidu. Mr. Kluche, so you are those who manufacture pharmaceuticals in this country. How exactly is the current economic crisis affecting your business?
Thank you very much, and good morning to the listeners, viewers. I would like to say we have been very significantly impacted. Pharmaceuticals requires a lot of importation of active pharmaceutical raw materials for our production processes, and all these things are bought overseas and require a lot of dollar component to purchase these things. So with the current escalation or depreciation of the CD against the dollar, it makes it very difficult for us to plan and manufacture and price appropriately to the requirements or budgets of our citizenry in the country.
I want to find out, these active ingredients, can't they be produced locally?
Very, very few. Very, very few. The vast majority of them have to be brought in from abroad because they are at a pharmaceutical grade quality. And we don't have the capacity to do a lot of the pharmaceutical grade quality API, active pharmaceutical ingredients in the country.
I'm sure it's pretty obvious how it will affect you for wholesalers and importers. Yeah. But just paint a picture to us. Since the year started till now, what has the difference been?
Okay, thank you, Benis. And good morning to viewers. As a pharmaceutical importer association, we need Forex to do the imports. Beginning of the year, the dollar was hovering around 6 to the cedi. So let's just take buying a product for $1 at FOB. As we speak today, the same $1, it's about, I don't know, whether 14 or 15. So without even bringing the product in Ghana, the cost at the location where you are going to pick it from has dropped. In terms of your amount of money you need to bring the same item, $1, you need about 15 cedis. You are not talking about your bank loan, which has also doubled to almost 35 or 38%. We've not brought in your taxes at the port, which has also doubled because as the cedi depreciates, the taxes also go up because the taxes are pegged against the dollar at the port, which changes every Monday. So right from the word go, your amount of money that you were using to do a business has depreciated more than 50 or 60%. And that's the state we find ourselves in now. So we are really, really under pressure to survive, because our survival is in the interest of every patient and the population at large, because health is wealth and health borders on security. Because if you have a citizenry that is not healthy, in a way, it affects all the sectors. So we are not happy about what is happening, because it's made prices of pharmaceuticals very high, and it's affecting the patients, and it's affecting, as much as our capital is being depleted, it's affecting the patient as well. Because let's face it, salaries haven't doubled 100%, but as we speak, there are some pharmaceuticals that have doubled in price, just at the FOB level, the cost, because the cedi has depreciated more than 100%.
Right. I'll come back to you to take more on this, but when you say that this has really affected the patient, I remember a story we did, a particular edition of our Living Standard series, where a young girl at the University of Ghana who is diabetic said that she now skips her insulin shots because it's become quite expensive for her to afford a regular system that she used to have for herself. But let me bring in Dr. Kwame Sapong-Esiedu, who is a fellow of CDD. So, Doc, we've heard from Mr. Kluche and Mr. Addo here in the studio. But from where you sit, they say there is an imminent collapse of the pharmaceutical industry. In fact, we're being told now by the Ghana Medical Association that the decision to employ the cash and carry basis for pharmaceuticals will be the start of the collapse of the National Health Insurance Scheme. How do we handle this situation?
Thank you and good morning. It's rather sad, to be honest. And I say so because if people go back to the CDD portal and blogs, we put out alerts in June and again in August, pointing to the trends in the alteration in the pressures in the pharmaceutical supply chain from the wholesale standpoint and the retail standpoint. At that time, the change in price between December 2021 and June of 2022 was between 33 and 49%. The CD depreciation was just about 20%. And we did predict that things were going to get worse. And we did make suggestions as to how we could bring this down by providing forex at preferential rates to pharmaceutical manufacturers, wholesalers, and importers. Because just as producer price inflation trickles down, wholesale price inflation in the pharmaceutical sector also trickles down to the retail sector. And the end user tends to bear the brunt. So I'll paint a picture. In December of 2021, if you added forex fluctuation, bank rates, and inflation, it was about 40%. If you did that today, it's 114%. If you then do a cost correction of prices of pharmaceuticals in December of 2021 and today, the average is about 127% change in price. Some are as high as 270%. And the sad truth is I had a conversation with some pharmacies yesterday, and a lot of retail pharmacies are trading at a loss. The reason they are is because, like the wholesalers and manufacturers have said, when they bring the products in, and let's say they brought a product in August when the dollar was somewhere around 8 cedis, they've got to make a projection as to giving credit to the retailers for, say, a month, 30 days, when they will get their money back and what the dollar would be to reflect them getting forex to go back and import. At the same time, they are dealing with the local inflationary pressures, which impacts on the salary of their staff. So unless we look at the key two things, which is forex, because if you look at 2020 data, Ghana's pharmaceutical industry was about $660 million US dollars, and it was growing by 5.5%. 85% of this market is forex modulated. So over 500 million of that market, even the manufacturing that goes on in Ghana, which is 23% of our pharmaceutical product, is almost 85% dependent on forex, like my colleagues in the studio have said. So unless we stop the forex depreciation and also give them preferential forex, maybe from the central bank, and also ensure that either pharmaceutical imports are limited by their tax bans, we are not going to see the end of this. But before I end, let me tell you the impact on the NHIS. Currently, if you look at the NHIS formula, that is being used to reimburse pharmacies, that's the community pharmacy and hospitals, the prices are about 35% below the market price. I have seen a circular yesterday from the NHI saying that they are going to reopen negotiations for the pricing because co-payment is becoming a problem. If they do that, their drug bill is going to go up by about 35 to 40%. If it does, what would then happen is because their inflows is CD modulated, how it's funded based on taxes, based on people who pay premiums, they have no scope in accommodating that drug bill. The option would be they'll delay payments. At the moment, they are between 6 and 13 months behind anyway. They'll delay payments, which would then mean that the cash that the retailers and manufacturers and importers are looking for would be unavailable, and the wholesalers are looking for would not be available to the retailers. The retailers would not be able to stock their shelves and would suddenly see a lack of supply of pharmaceuticals. That is the critical situation that we were pointing out in June and in August at CDD. Sadly, we are at this point. And we're doing a body of work current on retail-based inflation. I can put some of the figures out because I've shared some on my Facebook wall. If you look at locally manufactured paracetamol, even though it is not an expensive product, the price between December and now is about 201% on average across the country. And paracetamol is bread and butter that anyone has to buy. If you look at some of the anti-malarials, it's about 101%. That is unsustainable. It just is not sustainable for the government, for our health sector, the hospitals, for the patients. Because even now, with NHIS as it is, 52% of our population are actually paying out of pocket for their health care, either through payments in the pharmacy or payments in hospitals, clinics, etc. How do we sustain this? It's not sustainable. So we need to go to the base, which is clearly the forex fluctuation, and also look at the banking rates, because health is wealth.
Right.
It drives our human resource, and we cannot do it any other way.
Right, Doc. I'll allow you to breathe for now. So the Ghana Medical Association is asking government, Mr. Kluche, to try and halt this decision by your chamber to go cash and carry. They say this will affect NHI, and we've just heard Doc clearly explain how the process works. Are you willing in any way to compromise? Are you willing? Is there anything that will make you say, okay, we will still serve persons on the NHIA or who belong to the NHIS, and then expect government to give us our money later?
Thank you, Denise. Thank you. At the press conference yesterday, the three respective associations have written to the Honorable Minister for Health, and we've asked him to invite us for a meeting. The whole idea is that we officially notify him of our decision and to see how government wants to dialogue with the associations to do it. At the end of the day, we have invested in manufacturing, and we've invested significant amounts of money to produce drugs to the citizenry of this country for the next 50 years. It is not, we have not taken that decision lightly, right? We are in this thing for the long haul. I can tell you, it even hurts us that we are not able to sell. Because if I sell one unit, I'm selling at a loss, or the association is selling at a loss. The members are selling at a loss because of the forex situation and the devaluation of the cedi. So what we want to do is that we want to dialogue with the government. What is absolutely will not be acceptable is the current situation. I cannot take money borrow money from the bank in January, produce the products, sell to the facilities, and expect to be paid 12 months after. In January, the cedi to the dollar was 5 cedis, 80 pesos. Now we are talking about 14 and upgoing. By the time I sell every batch of products that I do, I have lost the profit. For the profit is gone. My working capital is decimated. If not 50%, 60% is gone. So every time I have to produce another batch, I have to take more working capital from the bank. I have to take more working capital from the bank. My profitability is not there, and the cash is also not there because somebody is holding on to the money, and that is not a sustainable business model. What is important is that we have to provide drugs for the security, the risk, to solve the risk issues in this country. And the current model is not helping that. Companies will go under. So we have to engage with government. Yes, we will engage with government because all the products are in the country. And I can tell you, we are still producing, just that we are not able to sell for 9 months credit. Importers are bringing products in, they just can't give it out for 9 months credit. So the government must come, restore confidence in this market, and I can tell you there are people up and down in this country who are worried about this proposal. The government can take the initiative, restore confidence, and come to some negotiation with us, understand the challenges that the industry is facing. And this is a very important industry to the government and to the whole country. And let's see what we can compromise that we can reach. But clearly, we cannot be borrowing money and throwing money 9 months. That is not a sustainable model. We want something close to cash and cash equivalent within the shortest possible time.
But considering that the NHIA has been working for a long time, do you think that this is feasible?
The challenge we think we need to do is that we are not in normal times. We have not seen the situation where the cedi is falling at such a rapid rate. And therefore, we cannot use the same old models to try and solve this problem. We all have to come together and say, what do we do? At the end of the day, this is all about the customer in Savlugu, in Axim, in Takrady. That's what this is all about. And those patients must get their medicines when they go to the hospital. So we must come up with new, bold initiatives, both from our side as manufacturers, as importers, and from the government side, because ultimately the government is the single largest buyer on behalf of all the hospitals in the country. So if they come with a bold proposals, then we are making progress. But if we come up with the same old stalemate, oh, you supply and we will pay you when we get the money from NHIE, nobody's able to do that because my company will not survive and members will not survive. That's the issue at stake.
Recently, we saw GUTA go on a strike. Members closed their shops. This morning, they've asked the members to reopen because of the meeting they had with the president and the government chair. I'm just wondering how long you're willing to take this protest. Let me start with you, Mr. Idumadu.
As my colleague said, it's just the business model that we are changing, looking at the economic environment. The pharma industry is the only industry that has been given credit for all these years. Because you buy your watch along the road, you pay. You buy iron rods, you pay. You buy your cement, you pay. You go to fuel, no matter the increment, you go there, you pay. You know, but because the pharma industry is patient-centered and knowing the responsibility that's on us to make sure that people who are sick get healed so that the economy will be healthy and people can go about their normal responsibilities. We had, over the years, relaxed the credit facilities for the chain to run.
Okay.
As we speak now, that model can't work again.
All right, so just help us understand. So, because of the example you cited earlier, so when I go to the pharmacy now, I'll pay cash for any drug that I purchase. But what you're explaining is that for you as wholesalers, you give it to these retailers at credit.
Yes.
Right? So it's not most of them at credit, and for NHIS subscribers as well.
Yeah.
But for other citizens, we also pay cash for it. I just want to create that
so what's going to happen is, with the person who goes to, or the patient who goes to the retail pharmacy, nothing will change much so long as that retail pharmacy also pays cash to the wholesaler. Now the issue will be those who don't have the funds will only have to talk to their bankers to go in for loans. Because over the period, we had been, once you give somebody credit, in a way you are financing that person's business. And the sad thing is, some of them, not all, can hold your money 3 months, 6 months, and even more. So we realized that we have to stick to our core business of being a pharma industry and not a financial institution. So we are just trying to regularize irregularities within the chain so that we can stay afloat for the benefit of the patient. Because should we go under, production will go down, essential medicine that has to come in will also go down. We were able to go through the COVID issue because at that time, the manufacturers had enough raw materials.
Okay.
The importers too had established good relationship with their suppliers. So even when the going was tough, because of the goodwill and the credibility over the period with this big international multinational, the little that they had, they could supply some to their people in Ghana here for the wholesalers to give to the retail outlet. So you realize that within the period, we didn't short a lot of medicines on the market. It was based on the credibility that the importers and manufacturers have established with their suppliers over the time. It didn't just happen. We don't want to start defaulting in payments to our principals. Because can you imagine that you've been given an LC of, let's say, 90 days, 180 days, and within the period, because you gave credit, now the value has just changed that you need double the amount to go and pay. You know, you can't, it's not sustainable. So we are looking at a situation that it's in the interest of the country as a whole. As we've said, if you need finance, talk to the banks. The government is the biggest borrower. He has the biggest muscle. He can also talk to the bank to help pay some of these things. So that at the end of the day, the pharma industry will stay afloat and be able to provide the necessary inputs that we need in the market for everybody to be healthy.
Are we getting to the point where we are likely to see a shortage of medicines?
Not yet. Not yet, because the only thing we are doing now is to regularize the model so that along the chain, everybody will know his or her responsibility.
Okay.
Our responsibility is to make the medicines available, and is other institutions' responsibility to ensure that when they buy, they pay. Formerly, we were just giving the credit because we had the patient attacked, but we realized that as we speak now, it won't work because we are really losing capital.
So back to the NHIS issue, and so if your government doesn't heed your call or address your concerns, what would it mean for somebody who goes to the hospital showing an NHIS card?
Well, a patient who goes to the government hospitals with the NHIS card will be seen. It's just that they will know how, at the end of the visit, the pharmacy is the last place the patient visits and gets their medication, and then they go home and start their treatment, medication treatment. If there's no, the hospital would default to plan B, to give the patient a prescription. The patient will then go out of the hospital facility, go to the private sector, and buy, if they've got money, buy the medication. That's what will happen. It's best practice that when the patient comes in, he's seen by the doctor, they get medication on the same facility premises before they go. But if there's no medication at the government facility, the patient will just have to go to the private sector and see whether there's drugs available and if they can also afford it.
And this is already happening in government hospitals across the country, unfortunately. I have been to a government hospital where people come in with their NHIS card and the hospital just gives them a prescription. Even IV fluids, you need to cross the street and get to a pharmacy to get the prescription drug.
I would like to add that as far as the membership of the Manufacturers Association are concerned, we are doing all our best. We are manufacturing the products. We have not stopped. Even in these negotiations, we have not stopped. Our plants is still producing day and night. We are producing the commodities. What we are saying is that we can't sell them at a loss. Otherwise, in an inflationary environment like this, you have to think about the replacement value of the stocks. If I sell the stocks and I cannot replace it, Then in 6 months' time, the warehouse will be completely empty and we have to lay off all the factory staff because we cannot replace the stock. And that is a challenge at heart.
Right. So are you able to give us, in terms of figures, how much the NHI owes pharmacies or suppliers of medication?
The industry, we don't have a figure at a figure.
But they owe individual suppliers?
They owe individual suppliers who have supplies to the regional medical stores, regional health directors across the region. And it suffices to say that it's big enough because the NHI have admitted that they are 9 months to 12 months behind schedule, payment schedule, which means that goods that were supplied, if it's 9 months, somewhere in January, have still not been paid for. Goods that were supplied last November in some parts of the country have not been paid for. And with that sort of environment, we having to keep finding that all the profit, all the working capital is completely gone as a result of where the exchange rate is now. And that is the challenge for us. This is not anything other than to say there is a big the finance model we are running is not working. The government must help restore confidence in the industry. This industry came to the needs when there was a COVID. We supplied sanitizer, we supplied antibiotics, we supplied a lot of things to help stabilize the situation there. This industry cannot be allowed to go down.
Yeah.
Because if we go down, the cost to the country will be far, 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 far worse. Because now we are importer of overseas companies realize that our industry is collapsed. And therefore, if the government comes to them, they will charge any price they want. So we have to do something. And I think it's in my interest and it's in the government's interest, for the sake of that patient in somewhere in the country, right, that we engage and solve the problem. Because we both want one thing. We want to stay in business. The government wants to make sure that the health needs of the country is met. And therefore, there's a reason for us to meet together and see where we can meet halfway to make sure that the challenge is averted.
Right. Doc, this issue of the cedi's depreciation, I mean, government has been trying hard to solve the problem. In fact, we know that we have signed for a syndicated loan, $1.3 billion. It's yet to come in, but we are receiving some hints that about $790 million will be coming in this week. Today is Friday, so I don't know exactly when. But last month, we received some $750 million from the Afrexim Bank. And we saw some slight stabilization, but that did not last. At the heart of this problem is our depreciating cedi. So we definitely need to address that immediately if we want to solve this problem. From where you sit, are you confident that this problem will be dealt with in the nearest possible time?
It's difficult to say, especially with the cedi in free fall. And if you look at the fact that we are a net importing country, you ask yourself, even if we got $3 billion coming in from the IMF, what is our total imports in a year? And how is it going to be divided to reach the key sectors of the economy, one of which is the pharmaceutical industry? You also realize that a lot, because of insecurity around investments in Ghana, a lot of people who've invested in Ghana are pulling out. So even when the dollars come in, they are cutting their losses and going onto the market and buying them and actually leaving the country with their funds. And that makes it difficult for the pharmaceutical sector to get it because they are competing with these people who are exiting to other markets. So I don't think the answer to this problem lies in the money that is coming in, whether the $3 billion or the 700 or something. If you listen to my colleague, Mr. Enimoto, the minute you say the pharmacy retailer should go to the bank for a loan, what you are saying is that they should increase their prices by about 41%, because the financing that was being provided by the pharmaceutical supply chain has suddenly been taken away. And that has been the bedrock of their business. And banks are not charities. So if that person comes to them for a loan at 41%, he's got or she's got to pay back at 41%. The person can only pay back when they've sold that medicine at a profit, paid their workers, and paid the bank. So they are going to go up by 41%. They can't help it, or they go down. The problem is everyone in the country's salary hasn't gone up by 41%. So what would happen? It's going to eat into your purchasing power. Already, inflation is eating into your purchasing power. The depreciating cedi is eating into your purchasing power. If the pharmaceutical supply chain then offloads the financing to start eating into your purchasing power, because don't get me wrong, the pharmaceutical importers cannot take it. It's either they go down, and this is the real risk. If they go down, the retail side is going to go down as well, because they are holding the retail side. However, if they offload, there's a probability of the retail side going down anyway without them going down, because the retail side cannot find the finances. I don't think a lot of them have the liquidity because they haven't faced this problem before. That is why I'm saying that there needs to be a strategic approach where the sector is supplied preferentially with Forex, and if the retail side has to go to the bank, they can go to the development banks that were being set up by government, who can give them loans at a lower rate. More importantly, the Bank of Ghana would have to be mindful of the constant increase in their base rate to try and quell inflation. Because if they do that, the banks are going to buy at that rate. They've also got to trade at a profit. They are going to put their profits and funds on it. And the retail pharmacies are going to have to transfer that to anyone who is a patient. So the negotiations is what's needed, and we need to see all the pinpoints across the supply chain and deal with them in a coherent manner. This cut and paste and quick fix would not fix the sector, because now that the players in the sector who have underwritten the financing have roared like lions, nobody can stop them. And the only way is for them either to continue to take on the finance, because the banks would then, they would go to the development banks and get loans at a preferred rate, or the retail pharmacy would do it. There's no two ways about it. And government has to intervene one way or the other. Without that intervention, we are not going to see a good ending to this.
And what is the possible ending if government fails to intervene appropriately, as you have mentioned?
The first thing you would see would be a decrease in the stock availability in retail pharmacies and in hospitals. Like you said, you go to a hospital and you get a prescription. The second thing you see is that when you get that prescription and you cross that street to go and get your infusion, the prices will, just as with the spare parts situation, that's what's going to happen in pharmacy. You realize that people will say, oh, you go to Abosokai, you're going to buy the spare part, and suddenly the price has gone up by 30-40% because they said the bank rates have changed. You're going to have that in the pharmacy. That's the second thing. The third thing you're then going to see is patients actually defaulting on their compliance and concordance, which is the cooperation between them and their prescriber to take their medicines appropriately so that the outcomes of their treatments improve. They'll start defaulting on it. And unfortunately, when there's a default on concordance, there is an upward drive of excess deaths. We don't need to go there. So you are looking at the long chain. I doubt if we get to the end of the chain, especially with the sector speaking up as it is. But we need all to come to the end of the table. This is the full paste, and say, where do we stop it? And I think there would have to be a stakeholder consultation. That's the only way it's going to.
Right, Doc, in your earlier submission, you mentioned that CDD had hinted of this happening a while ago. Will you say that the Chamber of Pharmacy spoke rather a little too late?
I wouldn't say they spoke a little too late, because I remember when we put out our first alert in June, I was on a program on Joy, actually it was with Libans, with a colleague of mine who is with the Chamber as well, Mr. Harrison Abupotiete. And they were speaking out at that point. They spoke out very strongly. And at that point, they hinted that we could go down this route. In August, when we wrote it, they also spoke out. The problem is people have failed to listen to them, right from the NHIS, right from the government. It is instructive to note that a day before their press conference, or on the day of their press conference, the NHIS put out a memorandum acknowledging all these problems and acknowledging that they need to start speaking. That, for me, was the NHIS acting too late, or the government acting too late, and not the industry speaking up too late, because at that time they had got to their third estate. And we seem to have a system where our institutions do not listen. They wait. When you talk, they just dismiss it and wait till it has virtually hit us all in the face before we start having a decent conversation. And I don't think that is how health governance should go. I've always disagreed with that sort of model.
Right, Doc. We'll leave it here with Dr. Kwame Sapong-Esido, who is a fellow of CDD, and he was just sharing with us whether or not the Chamber of Pharmacy acted a little too late. And I've been speaking to David Kafui-Kluche, and he is with the Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association of Ghana, and Mr. Edum Ado. I need to take myself. That's quite a unique name. I know Edum is in Kumasi. Yeah. I haven't heard anybody having the name Edum, but Mr. Edum Ado, who is with the Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association. So basically, what you are asking for is an intervention from government, and also for a restructuring of the model that you've been running over the years. I just want to find out on the bit of the restructuring of the model. Will it return to what we are practicing now when things stabilize, or it's something that you think you should continue with even when we are able to arrest the force? Let me start with Mr.
Yeah, maybe when we get there, we'll cross the bridge.
Okay.
But for now, we are saying it's cash down, then you pick your goods. We want to protect the industry for the general good of the populace. As we speak now, companies are struggling to bring in imports because now you need more than double the amount in cities within this short period. And if your variety is very huge, then realize that you are in big trouble. And as I said, you have the patient in mind. So you have to maybe increase the quantum of loans that you've gone for to ensure that you're able to meet the demands. We are not happy about what is going on because, as Dr. Esiedu said, once somebody defaults in compliance, it creates complications. And once it creates complications, you need more money to fix the complication even before you start talking about the real disease state. So it's in the interest of the patient, the interest of all of us, to make sure that patients don't default when it comes to compliance. Because so long as you take your medications, if you're hypertensive, diabetic, or any other disease, once you take your medication, you are good to go. So default doesn't help in any way. So what we are saying is the populace should bear with us. The institutions should appreciate the economic environment in which we are operating now and cooperate for our own mutual benefit. Other than that, once the chain breaks, everybody will be at the losing end, which we don't want such a thing to happen.
Your final words, Mr. Kluche.
My final words are that I think we have to change in the face of the industry for good. And we cannot go back to drop the commodities, wait 9 months to that, because that was not a sustainable model in the first place. The government has been working with the manufacturers to all build what we call good manufacturing practice plans, which can meet any international standards. That require financing. And every time we sell for 9 months, and by the time we get paid, the money has been devalued, the real value has gone down, it means that every time we're borrowing to shore up our working capital, that is not a sustainable model. So even when the government, central government is able to stabilize the situation, the economic situation, and the city is stable, we still need to make sure that we get paid for the delivery of our goods. I just want to leave on this note that as an industry, we are continuing to produce. The issue is not that the commodity is not available. I can assure you the infusions, the anti-malaria drugs, the analgesics, all of those commodities are available in the country and in sufficient quantities to serve every aspect of this country, every region, every district in this country. The goods are available. What we are asking for is that let's talk about the way we reward the manufacturers and importers for the supply of the goods. That's the issue. So we are not putting patients at risk by withdrawing the commodity completely. Let's say, let's engage and let's pay for the goods. That's all we're asking for. And I think for the interest of everybody, and from a national security risk point, I think we really need to take this engagement seriously. And we plead with authorities in government, the ministry, and NHI, and all the key stakeholders, and let's get together with the leadership of the three associations, and let's address this issue. Let's understand each other's perspectives, and let's find a common ground that is workable.
Has government reached out to you since your press conference yesterday? Has government reached out to any of you?
No, I've been busy with all the studios.
No, we are officially also requesting for that
a meeting.
Yeah. We know over the period, but we felt that once there's a press conference, we also have to talk to them because we are implementing what we said. Yes.
Right. Thank you very much for your time here this morning,
Thank you.
Gentlemen. And that has been our conversation on the impact of our economic situation on the pharmaceutical industry. It appears that there is no industry that has been left off the hook. Talk about people who produce bread, bakers, hairdressers, everybody is affected. And this time around, the Chamber of Pharmacy is letting us know what it's going through as a result of the economic situation and how it will affect all of us if things are not addressed urgently. Well, let's go now to Kojo Brace, who's joining us live from the Central Business District in Accra. He has an update on what is happening after GUTA called off their strike. Hello, Brace. What have you observed today? Apologies, we've lost my colleague Samuel Kojo Brace there, but let me just share a few more details on why GUTA has called off the strike. You may be aware that on Wednesday, shops by GUTA members were closed. I was at Okaishi to assess the situation. On Thursday, I was at the Opera Square, rather Wednesday I was at the Opera Square to also assess the situation there. At Okaishi, it was a day before the closure, and we were speaking to traders who were in support of the decision by their GUTA leadership. Well, GUTA released a letter indicating that after a meeting with President Akufo-Addo yesterday and the Garman chair, they've decided to call off their strike. They say this is in reverence to what was discussed there. However, we had the GUTA president asking members to adjust their prices and to ensure that they do not lose their capital in the long run. Obviously, you know that the CD is still depreciating against the dollar at a very rapid rate. I'm told we have Samuel Kojo Brace back on. Hello, Samuel. What are you able to report today?
We're here at the Rollins Circle, Accra Central. As you can see, lot of people have gathered here. I mean, the shops have reopened. And according to the little pieces of information we've gathered, some of them even opened yesterday. They closed on Wednesday, but they started reopening yesterday. They tell me that, well, they weren't seeing any change, and therefore they thought instead of staying home, they would come and reopen and do some trading. So some reopened yesterday, ahead of GUTA releasing the statement that they should reopen today. So today, a lot of them, I mean, I've seen almost all the shops have reopened. Let's try and engage some of them to find out the impact of what they did. And we're also hearing of some changes. We're in this shop and the owner here would want to speak to us. Good morning, ma. Edson. Danny, Moto stores. How many?
For 3 days because of $90. The more jumano. Amada bia ye to niemem. Nti sabande be hwe na nkasika no. Ye watimi agya bia egum na nkasika na kofoma maye because customers ne kasa e wo niema ne ho. Any duty etue nyina enso haye. Nti sabande be hwe ye kakra.
Ye nyane nte ye se nioma na moton no ebo no asesa. Ete sen.
Ebo no asesa ya tutum. Because kan kwa nti sesa ko bia ma ye be san tutum.
Danu na motum no na yesen na mu ba e bia ofa de ba kwan fan se bia Brazil ya ma fai motum no na nka yesen na mu bia yesen.
Oh, Brazil yi say na ye de 55 cedis asan toto so because of $90.
Nti mo de 5 cedis atoso na yesa so ambasan de bia atoso sa.
Say ambasan de 5 cedis asan toto so. Se scan ba fom ani aba fom. E kwosoro wo se etum ti sai be boka. Adwuma ye nyina kan ko a ani ye ebo. Utum niam ani mukura na sela waboka. Omo yi niam omo traders ni nyina obi ye ni wa omo ka yi nyina aboka. Ti sanity.
Na eba ne say omo mba beton ade no nso de na omo ka.
Omo mbeto ade no omo ba na omo kasa ho say ebo na ekosoro. Omo to a omo so ntimi nkoton.
Here in Accra and still engaging traders as to what has, what they have been through for the past 3 days that they closed their shops, whether or not they really followed it in terms of days, because we are picking information that some of them reopened their stores yesterday, which means that they couldn't go through it from Wednesday till today. We also know that GUTA says their traders can now reopen their stores after interactions with the government chair and the president. Let's try and engage more traders to really, understand what the situation is and how things are. Let me engage this woman here who owns this cosmetic shops. Mami, to say.
Nyamiadume.
Nanu ye ka se monto mo shops ya te say be mu de no amu biye ya wo de na wo ye ne den.
Ye because you see oh ton ade ekra wo ye me hyehye o de ade we beje te say 10 cedis before we ni beba ho so no ade ne nam 15 cedis sika ye de kwakwan so nyina sika na ye keto a sisi asa o de 10 cedis na kwakwan so this time around o kwa with 30 cedis because aya times 3 aya serious aban no ye pesa aban ne ba out na obe kasa fa ho na dollar ni ti me ye den ejina and o ba shop kwa wo ye me hyehye because eniama na wo ton no we be check no na dollar no e shooti so dollar wo muntu mu but dollar ni shooti pe na bibia ye basa
ye nyane ntie se mo bie no ye ka kire mo se nioma no muntutum because dollar na kosoro enti o de na te se watum ana wa ye nsen
oh yantu mu ye any problem no sisi a obi o ye business bi obi o kwakwan so bi antimi na because aye headache and aye den amayen
what de ketwa we o ton sen
90 cedis.
Where 90 cedis?
90 cedis before na 60 cedis. A serum my de fra inku. Before na 60 cedis, 90 cedis.
How many?
Within 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks. Hey. Yes.
3 weeks na every from 60 to 90.
What dey bisa wo ho say? Me fan say me kwa kwan so somewhere Easter. Now dollar is 7-8. Now dollar is 15 cedis. Into imagine. Easy. Anya easy. Ti say bedi bro nya say ya san kwa kwan so but obi ayem hyehye no. Say sika ne beba. Ye hwe nim sika bia so nye den emae me mani fi kra me hu we bi da me hu we bi da
So she says she fully closed her store from Wednesday till today. Now, according to her, the compelled them to do what they did. And again, in terms of impact on prices, she says within the space of 3 weeks, what she was selling for 60 cedis has now jumped to 90 Ghana cedis as a result of the the cedi depreciation. So she wants the government to do something about it. She says that they have heard that there's some amount of dollars that will be coming in, but they haven't seen it yet. Nothing has come in as of now. She says that in her lifetime, she has never seen something like this. That is how the situation is. We're still here in the Rolling Circle, Accra Central. Let's still speak to some more traders to understand how this is impacting them. Well, there are a few stores that have not opened, but majority of the stores here have reopened. Let me enter into this shop and speak with the woman here, the owner of the shop, to understand. This shops, we came here this morning, and she was also telling us how this whole thing has impacted her business. Mommy is here. She'll share a few words with us because we've had a very good interaction with her. Look, in the morning, you were telling us something with us anyway. We've had a prayer agreement, but now it looks like things have changed. But she was telling us that things have been difficult for them in terms of the cedi depreciation, and therefore it will be difficult for them to still keep their prices at where it used to be. They have also increased their price. That, as you see, almost all the shops, I've seen just 2 so far that have not been open, but almost every shop here at the Rolling Circle, Accra Central, has reopened, and they are doing brisk business. Let me try and speak to this man here, Chief. Earlier, me ba on chain. Na me pesemeti as say ye ka se muntum ana mantum.
Ashase ne de ye ne GUTA amplifying nyina ya adwen say tum tie tumu, but e kire no dampare by police pen ni ba be ka say MBB shops no.
Entinomo tumu daben ena mo bie ne daben.
Ye tumu efida o mo ka say entum na e be see enra.
Entimu bie na noa.
Enra e bie
yet in so say mo bie no ye ka say nneoma prices no montum. E ko ti say.
Oh, I know they maintain mo bibia emfi bibia. Enti me say da me meton me de ne sa na meton.
Okay. Do they own two mo ye.
Ntum.
Na mama bi mama ti wo ho say ne de no 3 weeks ago, now turn that they be 60 cedis and they 90 cedis because of cedi no. Also the fan says a fat idea we are within 3 weeks, you know, nefi hin abedru hin.
No money there zizia no enam dollar na ye de turn into de bia da no ade be chi bia na dollar no kosro. Nti say kosro amemi de ne de amafa no dada no e bia me fa no 9.5 since I me fa 9.5 so akọ ne mu am fa bi into so. A bonam de ton, son am de ton. Because say be a mayor restocking now, meet me at the new rate, you know, at the atom.
Into any infants 3 weeks ago. Na saying, and nay, I will say a bedroom saying.
Oh, and I make us say me old stock. Into me never phone into the mean fun new rate, you know, and ton. Yeah.
So, according to him, he closed down on Wednesday, but on Thursday, he reopened the shop because there were some talks from some quarters, and so they reopened. He says that the dollar is really affecting their businesses, but for him, since he has not restocked, he's still selling his goods at the old prices. So that is how the situation is for him. We are still here at the Rolling Circle, Accra Central. Let's engage more people, more traders to understand how the situation is. But I tell you what, people are here, they are buying and selling. Brisk business is what is happening. Let me speak to this trader to also get her perspectives on what is happening. Mame, Amelie Amboa, net to say.
Yamiadum.
Muntum. Obi Odiana Dabang.
Yabi, no. Wednesday. Thursday. Tomorrow Wednesday, maybe Thursday.
Dentina mobie no.
Ti fie enye hwe se me hwe krom kakra. Nti na ebebue.
Na de mo se ye ton enko ye ntimu azo ti fie onya hwe nti wabie. Anyway.
Ti fie enye hwe ni oyebe. Ese metina se den hwe na ekoso okrom. Nti na ebebue. Na mom brother, mom Ghana has say dey bre pa. Ye bre. Eni kwato ade ende. Echina be ko na yatum. Uto ade 20 cedi, uko kwato na 25. Uko kai si dollar. Uko kai si dollar. Na me so miti na na be ba no si dollar no oba. Oba bibia. Ba mi ase dollar no wachi na to dem. Watum wo di safona ma IGP. Na still into IGP ombie pununu na dollar no pie. Brother, na on dollar no my wa na ebre. Uba betina after na pa ento fi. Nyame bua na se to ade ba ko a, ukoto a ya tum. Enti press na uton ye no. Usa koto ju pes ka foforo be edi ka ho ansa na wa beto. Akoto. Enti usu ba mi so se usu ntuma na me kai because I am pay free face be market ni keke. Enti esra no.
Enti motu mo ne mo bie ye no. Nioma ne bo no ayeden akosoro na se ne tie gina na
nema no babi eti no e press na e wonu sana e o yentum ye because ensan e enkofa bi esan na ekofa bi dia ekoya atum yeso edi ba e betum
na me ba na wo kan bibi kire me e wo we hu na
we no mi turn 15 cedi a obi be to 15 cedi mi sakoto a Jimmy so 3 cedis 18 cedis ansana to ntu ba mi ba metum what you say because we rent shop no rent e betua me bibia we mu na be nti o mo hwe dollar no mai
no be kire me say na de bi wo ha da pemien say twa mu na nka ewo ne bo ene ewo ne bo also de yemfa say da pemien say twa mu na nka yesen ene yesen
da pemien say na mi kofa no mi ensa ya me kofa bi nti mi ntum price na ewo ho ana ewo but ensa na say mi koto na say atum do mi so mi ba metum what in the mekanasi
na de won tu mu ye
abi mi ntum mu ye
you're selling others
yes. But since you go back and buy the same thing at 15 cedis, then you go and it's increased to 18 cedis. So definitely you have to increase the price as well. Yes, that's why.
But the increment will come only when you are restocked.
Yes,
not now.
Restocked, not now.
So she says she reopened on Thursday. That's yesterday. She's saying that the president promised that it was going to solve the dollar issue, and also referenced the fact that the vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, once said he had arrested the city and given the keys to the IGP. He doesn't understand why we are where we are. They are calling for government to do something about the Ghana city. Let's try and see if we can engage more traders here at the Rolling Circle to understand how the situation is. Well, we are in this shop that has also reopened. Let me try and engage this young man here. Chief, how are you doing, sir?
Please, I'm well.
Good. We are aware that some shops closed. I don't know. Did you close?
Yes, please.
From when to when?
From I think Wednesday and Thursday, and we came today.
Okay. So yesterday you didn't reopen?
No, please, no.
Why have you reopened?
Because we had a notice that the elders of the I don't know.
Okay, GUTA.
Yeah, GUTA. They've spoken with the president, and the president is going to do something about the dollar rising and all that. Yes, so that's why we came today.
So it means that you understand why you're here. We are also told that because you have reopened, based on what's happening to the city, there has been changes to the price of your product.
Yes.
Okay. Is that true?
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. The prices has now increased, and like it's affecting all of us too.
So I mean, have the price of your goods changed? For example, the day you closed to today that you've reopened, has the price of this?
No. We're still maintaining the old prices for now. Yes.
Right. So it means that the prices haven't changed. Someone also said 3 weeks her product had the cost of the price of her product have changed. She gave me one product that she was selling for 60 cedis, 90 cedis. Within 3 weeks, what has been the change in terms of your pricing?
Yeah. Let's say, for instance, the shea butter like this, someone used to supply us the shea butter product. That was, I think last week, he came here and it was like we should change the prices to more like the rate at which the suppliers has been increased and all that. So we had to rechange everything to like the price now has really gone up. Yes. So
it means that 3 weeks ago, if I came to buy butter at say 20 cedis, today how much will I buy it?
You can buy it at let's say 45 cedis, 40 cedis.
If I bought it 20 cedis 3 weeks ago, I should buy it 45 cedis today.
Or 40 cedis, yes. Because currently we were selling the shea butter twin pack at 76 cedis, but now it's 88 cedis. So, yeah.
Thank you, sir. So there you had it for yourself. We are still here at the Rolling Circle. Let's try and engage some people who are buying to also understand how they are impacted by this as well. I don't know, I have someone here. Let me try and see if I can engage her. Okay, she doesn't. Although, okay, so we are still here, but as my camera will pan around for you to see, I mean, traffic is building up here. A lot of people are here to buy and sell, brisk trading activities underway here. It tells you that, in fact, the traders have come back to business, and after some were a day, some had 2 days, after a few days of closure, they are back to do business. And it's just normal. It's just the normal businesses that they were doing before. Some say that they have not increased the price of their goods. One other person said she had increased the price of her goods. So really, it is where you go to shop, and based on how the person sees it, is how the change in pricing will be. But again, one thing we note is that when you are coming here, we're told that within the last 3 weeks, prices of goods have really changed. So if you came here 3 weeks ago to buy, probably if you're coming today, you should increase the money on you to be used in buying. But if I look around from all across, I mean, on the Story building, all around you, stores have reopened. And that is the situation here at the Rolling Circle, Accra Central.
So that's my colleague Samuel Kojobrace giving us on-the-minute report of what's happening at the Rolling Circle here in Accra. It's part of the business district in the capital, and he's just been gauging the mood after GUTA lifted that strike. So we'll be following what's happening on the ground for you and bring you details on all that you need to know. But when we come back, as part of the FIFA World Cup activities, Advanced Travels has put together one of the best deals and most economically suitable package for all sport lovers who want to go to Doha for the World Cup to support the Black Stars. We'll bring you details in a moment. Thank you so much for staying here on the AM show. It's now time to talk about that special package that Advanced Travels has for the World Cup in Qatar. I've been joined by Johnson Yao Chooks. He's General Manager at Advanced Travels, the one in the white shirt on my far left, and Richard Ni Odoi, Marketing Manager of Advanced Travels. To my immediate left in the red shirt. Welcome, gentlemen. So this special package from Adansi Travels, tell us exactly what it's about. Let me start with you, Johnson.
Yeah, so we have 2 packages to the World Cup. We have a package based in Doha. It's where the World Cup is happening. That's in Qatar. And we have a package in Dubai where people will be ferrying from Dubai to Doha and having the experience. So I'll speak a little bit about the Doha package. So you get to be in Doha, get to be in a 4-star hotel, get to do a city tour of Doha. So we are giving the whole experience. It's not just about the World Cup. So we take you to Doha, let you experience the city of Doha, learn about its culture and everything, history and everything. Then also you get to see all the 3 group stage matches of Ghana, Portugal, Ghana, Korea, Ghana, Uruguay. It all comes with a package, and it's going for. So I'll leave the prices for Richard to talk about.
Yeah, we have as low as $2,700 for a package.
Oh wow!
And it's nowhere. And this goes for a package in Dubai. So we're having our Dubai packages coming in because we felt for Doha there were a lot of accommodation issues, and we felt it would be more fun to have people also flying from Dubai to Doha to watch the football matches. So we have Fly Dubai, who is going to take people that are going to be in Dubai, and we fly them to Doha to watch the football matches. And the good thing about our packages is we get to give you 1 match that you can just purchase, and you have that. We have 2 matches, we have 3 matches. And for the group stages, you have as low as $4,900 for a group stage match to watch.
Okay, so $4,900 just for a match ticket?
No, for the 3 matches.
For the 3 matches?
For the 3 group stage matches.
$2,700 for 1 match.
Okay.
In Dubai.
In Dubai. And this comes with your accommodation, your flight, and your morning breakfast, and all other things we are going to talk about here today.
All right, great. It sounds good. And Adansi says I should let you know that they've considered all that's happening. And so this is not to be too hard on your pocket, right?
Yeah.
You understand the economy, and so they're making this as more relaxed as they can.
Yeah.
And so beyond the Doha and Dubai package, what are the other packages that are available?
Okay, so we try to break 3 things down for our consumers, and we know the football lovers that we have over there. So the major was on accommodation.
Okay.
So for accommodation, we realized some people already have their accommodation and all of that, and they feel, for especially Doha, it makes the prices very expensive. So we're doing 1 package that comes with your flight, your match ticket, for Doha, which is going as cheap as $2,250.
So this is minus
accommodation,
just in case you have a friend or family or somebody you can live with.
You can live with.
Okay.
We're doing similar for Dubai. Dubai is $2,999 because the reason why that looks a little higher than the Doha is because we are going to fly you
to watch the games.
To watch the 3 games.
Oh, interesting.
And you see, the good thing about what we do is for all our packages, you have a city tour because we are a tour operator. So we are giving you city tour. For Dubai, we are giving you the marina cruise. And we're giving you the city tour also in Dubai. And we are doing something special for people. You know, when you go there, you miss your fufu, you miss your banku. For Dubai, you are covered. We have Sankofa who is going to give you every evening your fufu, your wache, your banku as an addition to the package that we are giving. This comes also with a multiple entry to Dubai.
Okay. Multiple. So it means that after I come back, I can go.
You can always go.
You can always
go. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Because you need to get the multi-entry visa to be able to go to Doha and back and forth. Yeah.
And you see, after that, we realized the next major will be on flight. So we have Fly Dubai. Those that are in Dubai who want to go and watch the football matches in Doha, we are giving it as low as $599.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, we feel there are people who already have their accommodations, they have their tickets, they want to go to Doha to watch the football match. We've done a package with Qatar Airways, which is going to fly them from Accra, Doha, and bring them back. So we work on your date and everything, and it's going as cheap as $1,290.
Explain that to me. So you go to Accra, you get to Doha, and then you come back.
Yes,
come back.
After you are
so you have all the components. You have the accommodation, you have the match ticket. You just want a flight.
Okay.
And around this time, flights are very expensive on Qatar Airways, especially during the World Cup period. It's going to go for like $3,000. But we are going to give it to you $1,290 just for the period of the World Cup.
So this is just for those of you who have everything sorted, but the flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see, after this, then we will say that, okay, what will be the major hindrance for the World Cup is the accommodation. So now we are giving only accommodation. What we want people to get to know is we'll give you the name of the location and the hotel, and it's called Al Masion Park-In Hotel. It's in Doha, and we're giving a night for $599. We can even give you as cheap as $550 for a night.
Okay.
So we want those of you also that will have your ticket, you don't have accommodation. People are going to start sleeping outside. This is covered with Adanse. We have all the reservations done, and we want you to call us. And when you call us, you can do your reservations for your hotel rooms that you sleep.
Okay.
So we have for group stage, we have for a group of 16, semi-finals and finals. So at least for 5 nights, book your hotel accommodation also with us. So these are the 3 segments we have under that we've now spread, apart from the group games that we have.
I honestly think this is a really well thought through package, if you ask me, because they've got all the angles covered. So for those of you who are like zero, you don't have accommodation, you don't have flights, you don't have a place to stay, and any other thing that's related to visiting Doha or Dubai because of the World Cup, Adanse has got you covered. If you just need a flight, Adanse has got you covered. If you just need accommodation, Adanse has got you covered. If you have accommodation but need other things, Adanse has got you covered. So look, everywhere you turn, Adanse will sort you out.
But it's important for people to know that if you don't have accommodation now in Doha and you plan on going, trust you me, you need to come and get accommodation from us. Because the minimum accommodation you can get in Doha now is like $2,000, $3,000 a night. That's like 3-star hotel in Doha.
Because of the World Cup.
Because of the World Cup. So you need to come to us. Seriously, if you plan on going, and don't delay, because it's
increasing by the day.
By the day, and it's selling out fast.
Yeah, and one of my colleagues just hinted that he actually watched a report on Al Jazeera. So this is a truth that we are being told here. So, anything special for those who are watching us today? Is there anything special for those watching us?
You know, anytime we come here, there's always something special we do. Okay. So for us, we want your viewers to just call us on 059 38 50079. Call this number right now and just say you call in with the code JoyNews. And we are going to give you $200 off each package you buy.
Wow. Please mention the number again.
059 38 50079. Call this number and use the code that we've given you, JoyNews, and you are getting a $200 off the Dubai or Doha package that you buy.
Okay.
And I hope you know, if you convert to cedis, how much $200.
I was just going to say that, look, don't delay in making up your mind. If you want to go and watch the World Cup and you have the means, just go now, because you never know what's going to look like on Monday, especially with how the city is free falling. But, you know, I know Adanse because we've been doing a lot of collaborations with you over the years. And there may be somebody who is watching us who thinks, oh, this is all too good to be true. Or these people are just whetting our appetite. What do you have as proof that indeed Adanse has everything covered when it comes to the World Cup?
I'm dropping it here.
Oh, wow.
The proof is in there.
Oh, okay.
You can show it to them.
Yes, I will. Let me handle it with care so that... So this is actually a ticket for the Portugal versus Ghana match. All right. And it shows the gate you're supposed to go through, the block, your row, your seat number. Oh, interesting. So I'm sure you have more of this, right?
We do.
You have more of this. Guys, this is proof that Adanse has been working hard to make it easy for you to go to the World Cup in Qatar. Look, Korea Republic versus Ghana, Portugal versus Ghana. They've got the tickets. They've got a lot more. So this is not one of those travel and tours that will promise you one thing and do the other. And this is the Ghana versus Uruguay match. So it's all the 3 matches, okay? Just so that you're aware that this is not a scam, but we've got you really covered. Now, we've spoken about the packages, and I have spoken about how well thought through they are. But what makes Adanse's package different? What is special? Let me come to you.
So Adanse's package, what makes it special is that, one, you see, all these things are confirmed. The flight, the hotel, the transfer from the airport, the transfer from the hotel to the match venues are confirmed. Of course, the ticket savings have been confirmed. You have it in your hand. So that's what makes it special, trust me. And we have been to the grounds. Our MD went to Doha, went to Dubai to inspect all these facilities. So that's what makes it special. One thing is that your safety is assured. We won't take you somewhere we know you are going to get harmed, no. So that's what and we are not just giving you the World Cup. We are giving you an experience. It's not just about just go and watch match and come back home.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
it's a whole experience.
Yeah.
You're just going there to go and learn as well, learn about the history of the country, and also, get to be with likewise mind people and have the fun and experience and all. So it's a total package we are giving you with Adansi, and we've done it before. We keep doing it, so you can be rest assured that it's going to happen with us.
Right, and I'm just reading here that you have a hire card for entry to Qatar with free public transport.
Yeah.
So this is for those who are in
Doha.
In Doha, for those who are going to Doha. And even those who will be going to Dubai as well.
They all get their hire cards from us. And you see, the good part of all that we are giving to them is you are staying holiday in Jumeirah. Those that are going to be in Dubai. Dubai. So it's Jumeirah. It's not just anywhere but Jumeirah. And there's holiday in. And you see, we're mentioning the names so that we want your viewers to get to know what we are giving them. Call them.
The quality. You can even verify.
Yeah, call them and verify. Whether does Adansi have anything booked in there for us? But the truth is, it's limited. We are not doing for a lot. So like the tickets you are having, I just have few I want to give out. For this category 3 tickets that you are having, we are going to give it for $275.
Okay.
We have category 2 tickets also that are going for $490. That we just have a little left that are not tied to rooms and other things.
Okay, so these are spare tickets.
Yes,
spare tickets that are available for people to purchase, exclusive of the package. But there are those who can purchase packages that include everything. Yeah. Okay, we just need to set that straight so that you can understand what Adansi is doing. Yeah. Can I keep that ticket? Don't mind me. But how can we be part of this? I mean, someone is watching us and is thinking, I know you've given out a number, but if there are any other numbers to give or how else we can find Adansi and be part of the package, because this is really interesting.
Yeah, so you can call our numbers like Richie just gave us. Let me just reiterate the numbers again. 05938 50079. Alternatively, you can go to our website, adansitravels.com, www.adansitravels.com. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on TikTok as well. You can just link us up from there.
And our office is in East Legon.
Okay.
It's just before American House, just after Pinkberry. You can also walk in because I can promise you by Monday, everything will be done.
Yeah.
And because we are giving the discount, we want you to call now and grab yours.
Yeah.
So that by Monday, when you hear from us, we are just coming to tell you those that called from here who have won their ticket.
All right. Okay. So please make your decision as soon as possible.
The ticket keep going.
Johnson is worried that the ticket
keeps going this way.
This way. But this is a good one. This is a good one. If you're hoping to experience something, if you've never been to the World Cup before, Adansi is giving you a special package. If you just joined us because a friend called you, you can get onto Facebook and watch this conversation from the beginning and furnish yourself with all the details. Or you can call the numbers as they've been announced and get all the details that you need to know. But basically what Adansi is doing for this World Cup in Qatar is that it's offering you 2 major packages. You're either resident in Doha or Dubai. If you are in Dubai, you will be flown to Doha for the matches that you subscribed for. They also have full packages which entail everything: accommodation, transportation, food, and watching the games. They also have, for those of you who may already have accommodation in Dubai or Doha, you just need a ticket to go and watch the game, they can offer that. Or if you have accommodation already but you just need a flight, they can offer that. So just call them and you will be sorted. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I've given you back your ticket on record. Johnson Yao-Chooks is General Manager at Adansi Travel, and Richard Ni Odoy is Marketing Manager of Adansi Travels. And this morning we've been talking about the World Cup. So, happy moment to say hello Ghana. Let's start World Cup Qatar 2020 with Storm Energy Drink, Puma soft drinks and awake drinking water from Pharmaceutical Company Limited. Simply buy your favorite Storm Energy Drink, Puma soft drinks and awake drinking water. Text the 4-digit unique number on the neck of the bottle to short code *780# option 2 and follow the prompts on all networks for free. Be one of the lucky winners to this year's World Cup in the monthly draw. You can also win TVs, fridges, microwave ovens, mobile phones, home theaters, free drinks and more instantly. Don't waste time. Grab a bottle of Storm Energy Drink, Puma soft drinks and awake drinking water and let's storm Qatar this World Cup. This promotion is on the NLA Caritas platform and this advert is FDA approved. Remember, terms and conditions apply. When we come back, we'll be talking about the National Science and Maths quiz. And we know it was a major upset for Accra Academy. Which school?
Don't access, please.
Accra Academy. The way you exhaled, please, which school did you go to? Oh, look, these gentlemen are running. Oh, Bloby, sorry. Well, we'll be bringing you more on that shortly here on the AM show.